Chapter 1505. On the altar, Zhao Fu silently lay there with his eyes closed, and a large amount of demonic qi flowed out from his body. At that moment, Zhao Fu slowly opened his eyes, and his black, rose-like eyes gradually became blood-red. The demonic qi around Zhao Fu's body also became blood-red demonic qi and flowed out, seeming to be absorbed by something before disappearing. The 12 massive plants in the heavens and earth exploded out with a terrifying suction force, forming formless air currents that devoured all energy in the heavens and earth. The heavens and earth seemed to start to die, and the sky seemed to become still and desolate. The ground quickly became a gray-white color, and countless plants withered. The countless people hiding within turned into white bones, and the surroundings became deathly silent. All signs of life had disappeared, and there were no longer any living creatures. The 12 massive flowers absorbed the life force of the heavens and earth and went through massive changes. The massive black flower buds at the top gradually became blood-red. Following this, the flowers slowly opened and beautifully bloomed, giving off a dreamy demonic light and giving off a fragrance that could bewitch countless beings. As the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers bloomed, the sky became blood-red and quickly spread to the 10,000 worlds. The evil spirit abyss flowers' terrifying and evil aura swept out, and all of the demonic qi in the demon domain gathered in that direction. Within the majestic academy, a few people who had been chatting and laughing sensed this terrifying aura, and their expressions fell. They came 10,000 meters away and looked at the blood-red color in the distance with serious expressions. The place they were at was the famous Nine-Hell Demon College, the holy land of the demon domain. The auras that these people gave off were incredibly shocking because they were all higher beings. One of the cold-looking people said seriously, "Is this the evil spirit abyss flower's power? Wasn't the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor sealed? How could it appear again? Moreover, its aura is even more terrifying than last time." Another slightly chubby person said seriously, "This isn't the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's aura, but someone else's aura. It's most likely the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee. The evil spirit abyss flower ancestor has found a good legatee. The aura that the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor gives off is even stronger than his." There was also a beautiful young woman who said worriedly, "Since this aura is so terrifying, the evil flower bewitching world that he unleashed is most likely even more dangerous than the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor. We should quickly go and have a look, or else once he unleashes it, it will be a catastrophe for the demon domain." A handsome young man with a slender figure chuckled, I'm quite curious who this evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee is. I feel that his aura is quite familiar, but I'm not sure who he is." The cold-looking young man who had been the first to speak agreed. "I want to seal him in the Nine-Hell Demon College and research him. I want to see just what the evil spirit abyss flower's demon-eating power is." Everyone nodded and turned into rays of light as they disappeared over the horizon. A cold-looking middle-aged man wearing a demonic dragon robe and giving off a powerful aura stood on a tall and luxurious building. He looked at the blood-red sky and the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's aura, and he slightly frowned. He was the emperor of the 10 Demon Empire, which was one of the top 3 factions in the demon domain. It was incredibly powerful and terrifying. There were a few ministers standing behind him, and a middle-aged man with a long beard bowed and said, "Your Majesty, after such a long time, the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee has appeared. After such a long time, the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee has reappeared. He must be planning to fulfill his oath and destroy the 10 Demon Empire." A valiant-looking young man wearing battle armor said, "Your Majesty, this minister wants all of the Empire's higher beings to move out. We'll definitely kill the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee and then head to the human domain's Emperor Path College to kill the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's main body to prevent any future troubles." A scholarly robed minister also suggested. This minister also supports General's decision. Back then, the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor had great enmity with the Empire and made an oath to take revenge on the Empire. The evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor definitely cannot be left alive. A gloomy-looking elder lightly harumphed. Do you think His Majesty doesn't know how dangerous this is? If he could kill the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor, he would have long since done so. Do you really think the human domain's Emperor Path College is so easy to deal with? The evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor's legatee is giving off terrifying ripples that are even more terrifying than the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestors. He most likely inherited all of the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor's power. Right now, the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor is like a piece of trash, so there's no need to worry about him. Hearing this, everyone nodded in agreement. The cold-looking middle-aged man also said coldly, "Then send out 8 higher beings to kill this legatee. However, if you can capture him alive, do your best to capture him alive. I'm going to take his head as a sacrifice to the previous emperor." "Yes, your majesty." Everyone nodded seriously. This time, with 8 higher beings, the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor's legatee would not be able to escape. In a tall and unadorned pavilion, a white-robed, silver-haired old man looked at the sky that was continuously spreading the color of blood. He sighed, "I'm afraid that the demon domain will once again set off a reign of terror. At that time, who knows how many people will die?" Next to him, a cute young girl said in confusion, "Grandpa, I don't think so. I don't think so." With the lesson from before, none of the higher beings would just stand by and watch. Now, there are continuously more higher beings heading over. 5 of our factions are going, and we should be able to suppress the evil flower bewitching world. The elder's expression became serious as he shook his head. "I feel that this matter isn't as simple as the evil flower bewitching world. I don't know why, but I feel a sense of fear." The young girl said in disbelief, "No way. Grandpa, even with so many higher beings heading over, they can't stop it?" The elder nodded seriously. "Look at the blood-red sky. Isn't it even more terrifying than what the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor released? The evil spirit Abyss Flower's main body is the world's first evil spirit Abyss Flower, and there's almost nothing that can surpass his power. There's something even more terrifying hidden within that blood-red color." Hearing this, the young girl closed her eyes and sensed it. However, her cultivation was quite low, so she could not sense anything. As such, she was quite skeptical of the elder's words. The elder ignored the young girl and sensed the energy ripples in the sky as he said seriously, "This time, I'm going to personally go and see just what's going on." Just as the elder finished speaking and was about to turn into a ray of light and shoot into the sky, the young girl hurriedly stopped him and said coquettishly, "Grandpa, you can bring me along too." Chapter 1506. A few elders from the Demon Emperor sect and a handsome-looking young man stood on a stage and looked at the blood-red sky with serious expressions. A chubby elder said, "Sect Master, the Big Miss has also gone missing. I don't know if it has anything to do with this, but I'm worried that the Big Miss has been captured by the legatee to become an evil flower emissary. With the Big Miss talent and looks, she's undoubtedly the most suitable woman in the demon domain." Another skinnier elder nodded and said, "I also feel that this is quite a coincidence. If the Big Miss really is an evil flower emissary, we must interfere, or else the Big Miss might die together with the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor." A middle-aged man wearing scholarly robes said, "The evil flower bewitching world is such a big matter, and no matter what their goal is, we must go and investigate. If we can stop them, we must. Because the scale of the evil flower bewitching world is so big, it will definitely deal a heavy blow to the demon domain. When that time comes, our faction will fall behind the other domains. Perhaps this is a plot by the human domain." The handsome-looking young man standing at the front was D-Moji's father, D-Jiang. As for why her father was so young, it was because her father had broken through to the higher being realm not long ago and had obtained a longer lifespan, so he naturally became younger. Hearing the elder's words, Di Jiang said seriously, I will immediately bring 6 higher beings from the sect with me. You don't need to worry. Hearing this, the elders obediently retreated to the side and did not say anything else. The blood-red light spread out, and the dark and evil aura made the demon race feel quite uncomfortable. This was especially so for the demon-eating aura, which caused all of the demon race to feel a trace of fear. Countless people looked in that direction. That direction seemed to be completely enveloped by blood-red light. It was like a forbidden land with no chance of survival. Waves of terrifying aura constantly surged over like a flood, and countless demonic beasts and demons fled frantically. Powerful rays of light tore through the sky, leaving behind faint traces and causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Countless people looked incredibly terrified because each ray of light represented a higher being. The evil flower bewitching world had caused such a massive commotion, shaking the entire demon domain and attracting countless higher beings. News quickly spread to the other domains, and after hearing about this, they all headed to the demon domain. This was especially so for the large factions in the human domain, because they knew who the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestors legatee was. That person was the person they had been searching for this entire time, and they had never thought that he would cause such a commotion in the demon domain. The higher beings who had helped Zhao Fu in the past, Feng Qianghua, and those who were related to Zhao Fu all looked incredibly shocked. Now that things had become so big, there was nothing they could do. No matter how terrifying they were or how powerful their factions were, they could not stop all of the demon domain's higher beings. This time, they did not know what Zhao Fu would do. Feng Qianghua revealed an arrogant smile as she thought to herself, as expected of the man, this empress has taken a fancy to. He really doesn't disappoint. He turned to look at his mother and begged, Mother Empress, this time, let me give it a try. If I can save him, I'll imprison him in the palace forever. If I can't, I can bring his corpse back. No one knows that he has divine blood in his body. Feng Xianhuang felt quite helpless. Her daughter wanted that boy too much, so she could only nod and agree. She said, Be careful. This matter is incredibly dangerous, so don't be stubborn if you can't save him. Feng Xianhua happily smiled as she said, I got it. Mother Empress, don't worry. That man is just a precious little pet. I won't give up my life for him. Hearing this, Feng Qianhuang nodded in relief. Seeing the abnormal signs in the sky, Di Moji, Yuan Zuin, Zhu Tianling, and the other women felt incredibly shocked. Fortunately, they had listened to Zhao Fu and retreated, or else they really might have died. Even though they had read about how terrifying the evil flower bewitching world was, they had never personally seen it. Now that they saw the heavens and earth being destroyed, they could not help but feel terrified. This was the abnormal signs caused by Zhao Fu. In front of such terrifying power, the women could not resist at all and acknowledged Zhao Fu's existence. The 12 evil spirit abyss flowers turned into blood-red flowers and bloomed. This was the color of a mature, evil spirit abyss flower. And as one of the 12 evil flower emissaries, the women felt a massive wave of power enter their bodies, and a terrifying power spread out. A blood-red mark appeared on their foreheads, and the 12 marks all looked different. Their hair also became blood-red, and their eyes also became blood-red, reflecting the appearance of the evil spirit abyss flowers. Traces of soul energy floated out from their foreheads and flew towards the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers. By now, countless higher beings had arrived, and looking at the 12 massive evil spirit abyss flowers that reached into the sky, a look of shock appeared on their faces. If they could destroy the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers and find the legatee, they would be able to stop the evil flower bewitching world. If they could not find the legatee, they would not be able to destroy the evil spirit abyss flowers, as they were the legatee. The higher beings exploded out with terrifying power, wanting to destroy the evil spirit abyss flowers. At that moment, the traces of soul energy entered the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers. Boom! 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 Boundless demonic chi from the entire demon domain flooded into the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers, giving off terrifying ripples that seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and earth as they spread out. This caused the higher beings' expressions to fall. The evil spirit abyss flowers were borrowing the power of the abnormal signs and the demon domain's power, making it impossible for them to attack. Doing so would be heaven-defying, and they would suffer a backlash from the demon domain's power. Facing these terrifying ripples, the higher beings could not help but retreat. They could only wait until the evil spirit abyss flowers officially opened the evil flower bewitching world and the demon domain's power weakened before they could act. The 12 evil spirit abyss flowers had fused with the 12 evil flower emissaries' soul energy, and they seemed to be alive. They gave off an even more powerful aura of life and continuously devoured demonic chi before gathering at the top of the flowers, causing an extremely terrifying and dark aura to spread out. Each evil spirit abyss flower was 1,000,000 meters wide, and there was a picture of a demon woman dancing on each petal, giving off a dreamlike demonic power. Countless traces of terrifying demonic energy gathered at the center of the flowers, forming 12 black orbs of light that were tens of thousands of meters wide. Each orb gave off terrifying darkness power, and space started to twist because of this power. Chapter 1507. The 12 orbs of black light above the evil spirit abyss flowers gave off boundless black light and looked like 12 black suns floating in the air. They gave off powerful auras that seemed to suppress the heavens and earth. Within the historical remnant, Zhao Fu was still lying on the altar. He opened his eyes, revealing blood-red, rose-like pupils. Zhao Fu placed his hands in front of him and started to form hand seals. Blood-red, demonic chi flowed out of his body and revolved around Zhao Fu, forming a massive vortex that covered the surrounding hundreds of meters and gave off shocking sounds. Traces of pure, black, demonic chi flowed out of the massive blood-red vortex and gathered at the center, forming a black orb that was as big as a fist. At that moment, Zhao Fu's eyes gave off a blood-red light, and his rose-red pupils became incredibly devilish. A trace of soul energy floated out from his forehead and fused into the black orb. Boom! An explosion sounded out as the black orb gave off a powerful aura and gave off a massive attractive force, sucking in all of the demonic chi from the blood-red vortex and forming a black crystal ball. In the outside world, the 12 orbs of black light gave off massive auras as they slowly rose up and gathered in the air, starting to fuse together. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as the 12 black suns fused together, giving off terrifying darkness energy that sent out wild gales. The space around them could not withstand this power and seemed to be torn apart. Wild gales continuously swept out, causing countless boulders to be lifted into the sky and countless trees to be uprooted. The ground was peeled off layer by layer, causing sand and dust to fill the air. The terrifying aura caused the many higher beings to retreat. The evil flower bewitching world was about to unfold, and it was the first time most people had seen it. Sensing this power, they understood why the demon domain had suffered such a catastrophe back then. Everyone's expressions were serious as they stared at the fusing orbs of black light, waiting for the evil flower bewitching world to unfold. Boom! A shocking explosion once again sounded out as the 12 orbs of black light fused together, forming a 100,000-meter wide orb of black light. It gave off a shocking aura that could cause gods and demons to tremble in fear. The black light seemed to sweep through everything as it spread out, passing through worlds and covering thousands of worlds. It illuminated the land and bewitched all creatures. Immediately, all of the living beings in the area suddenly stiffened, and their eyes became hollow. Their eyes turned black, and blood-colored flowers appeared in their eyes. Not only were strands of demonic chi rising from the countless plants in the sky, but strands of demonic chi were also rising from the ground, gathering in that direction. Countless creatures that had been controlled had lifeless expressions and stiff movements. They were like walking corpses as they advanced towards the black sun in the sky. Creatures from all over gathered in that direction, creating a shocking scene. Now that the evil flower bewitching world had been fully unleashed, the heaven and earth manifestation's power had gradually subsided. It was time to act. The higher beings looked at each other and waved their hands, causing massive crescents to give off terrifying power as they slashed towards the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers. Bang, bang, bang. The 12 evil spirit abyss flowers gave off a massive blood-red barrier to protect themselves. Each evil spirit abyss flower had massive amounts of heaven and earth power, so the barrier was incredibly sturdy. As the attacks landed on it, the barrier was not damaged at all. This made the higher beings feel quite surprised, and they became even more serious as they took out weapons. As higher beings' weapons, the auras they gave off were quite terrifying, and each of them was most likely Emperor Heaven grade. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying attacks containing destructive power tore through the sky and struck the massive blood-red barrier. At that moment, the blood-red barrier continuously trembled and its power rapidly weakened. It seemed that this blood-red barrier was unable to defend against so many higher beings. The higher beings did not waste any time and once again attacked. Another explosion sounded out as terrifying shockwaves turned into wild gales that blew out. The massive blood-red barrier was now covered with cracks and was about to be destroyed. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as the higher beings once again attacked, slamming into the massive barrier and finally destroying it. The blood-red barrier turned into countless shards and dissipated. Swish, 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 swish. The 12 evil spirit abyss flowers started to counterattack. Countless pale white roots continuously grew at the bottom, giving off ferocious power as they shot towards the higher beings. None of the higher beings dared to be careless, and they swung their weapons, which gave off cold lights as they cut apart the incoming roots. The evil spirit abyss flowers madly continued to grow, ferociously attacking the higher beings. In actuality, the evil spirit abyss flowers' roots were incredibly tough, and ordinary weapons would not be able to damage them. It was a pity that they had encountered a group of higher beings, and there were many of them. As such, the countless roots were easily dealt with. In the distance, Demoji and the other women looked quite worried. The evil flower bewitching world had attracted too many higher beings this time. There were 300 or so of them. When the flower ancestor had unleashed the evil flower bewitching world in the past, there had only been 100 or so of them, and they had not faced as much resistance as now. It was possible that the evil flower bewitching world would be stopped and the higher beings would destroy the historical remnant. When that time came, facing so many higher beings, Zhao Fu would definitely die. Roar! A pained cry sounded throughout the sky as a higher being passed through the countless roots and slashed at the evil spirit abyss flowers, opening up a long gash from which bright red blood continuously flowed out. The other higher beings also slashed apart the roots and attacked the evil spirit abyss flowers, causing them to roar in pain. Wounds appeared on the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers' bodies, from which blood continuously flowed out, and they looked quite wretched. The higher beings did not stop and instead smiled as they vigorously attacked the evil spirit abyss flowers. It seemed that the massive evil spirit abyss flowers were about to be cut in half. Demoji and the other women's faces paled and could only watch from afar, unable to participate at all. Even though they had Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation, they were still too weak and could not do anything. It seemed that the evil flower bewitching world would be stopped this time. Boom, boom, boom. More powerful auras descended as more and more major existences arrived. Demoji and Yuan Ziyuan's factions happened to be among them. Seeing their factions, Demoji and Yuan Ziyuan felt quite delighted. The two women had the others quickly leave before flying into the sky and meeting up with their factions. Chapter 1508. However, They soon found that Demoji's appearance had greatly changed. She had blood-red hair and eyes, and her aura was the same as the evil spirit abyss flowers. Their hearts sank. They had not guessed incorrectly. Their big miss had become an evil flower emissary. A look of fury appeared on Dejong's face, and he brought people to cut down the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers. Demoji hurriedly stopped Dejong and begged, "Father, don't worry. Can you stop the other higher beings from destroying the evil spirit abyss flowers?" Hearing this, Dejong felt quite confused and could not understand why his daughter would ask him to help that evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee. His daughter definitely would not willingly become an evil flower emissary and had definitely been forced by that person. But why did his daughter say that she would help that person? Thinking of this, Dejong understood. If the inheritor died, his daughter would die as well. Dejong said seriously, "Daughter, don't worry. Dad will think of a way to remove your identity as an evil flower emissary. Don't worry. Dad will definitely tear that person to pieces to appease your hatred." Demoji hurriedly explained, "Father, that's not what I meant. I just want you to stop those higher beings from destroying the evil spirit abyss flower. Also, I've already acknowledged that person as my husband, so he's your son-in-law. You can't let anything happen to him." Dejong was quite surprised. He had never thought that his daughter would submit to that person and beg him to save that bastard. However, the evil spirit abyss flower had the power to control one's thoughts, and Dejong suspected that Demoji's thoughts had been controlled, which was why he had said such a thing. Moreover, the Imperial General could not do such a thing because there were 300 or so higher beings present. Even if he wanted to stop them, he did not have the power to do so. Dejong said angrily, "Daughter, I know you're being controlled now, but I'll think a way to save you. Capture the young miss first. Don't let her escape. We'll talk after I kill that bastard." Demoji felt a headache coming on. She had never thought that things would turn out like this. The higher beings behind Dejong wanted to capture her, and Demoji naturally was not a match for them. As such, she could only threaten them with her life to stop them. Dejong's hatred for Zhao Fu reached the extreme, and he felt that Zhao Fu was the one who had controlled his daughter. He wanted to kill Zhao Fu for daring to treat his daughter like this. However, Demoji started to give a detailed explanation, causing Dejong to gradually calm down. "Have you really decided to be his woman? A bastard like him isn't worthy of you," Dejong said as he looked at Demoji seriously. First of all, that bastard had taken advantage of his daughter's situation to forcefully take advantage of him. Furthermore, that bastard was so fickle and had so many women by his side. As a father, how could he accept such a bastard as his daughter's husband? Demoji nodded earnestly, indicating that she was willing to become his woman. Dejong's expression was serious as he looked at the higher beings attacking the evil flower abyss flower. He could not stop them and could only wait to see if he could save that bastard. However, this would be incredibly difficult. "Mother, can you save my husband?" Yuan Zhen hugged a beautiful woman and looked at her with hope in her eyes. Her faction was weaker than the Emperor Demon Sex faction, and her mother had only brought 2 higher beings with her, so she naturally could not stop others from destroying the evil spirit abyss flower. As such, she could only try to save Zhao Fu and preserve Zhao Fu's life. The beautiful woman felt quite troubled. Saving someone from hundreds of higher beings was an incredibly dangerous matter, and she could not understand why her daughter would help such a bastard. Even though he was the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee and had great power, the beautiful woman did not like people like him. He attracted too much hatred and was not loyal enough to her daughter, so she was quite opposed to this. However, facing her daughter's sincere request, the beautiful woman could only agree and try. At the same time, she tried to think of a way to deal with Yuan Ziyuan becoming an evil flower emissary. In the distance, the cute young girl saw that the evil spirit abyss flower was about to be cut and pouted unhappily as she said to the silver-haired elder beside her, "Grandpa, look at that terrifying thing. The evil spirit abyss flower is about to be cut, and the evil flower bewitching world is about to be stopped." The silver-haired elder did not reply to the young girl's words and stared at the massive black orb of light. The feeling of fear within his heart became stronger and stronger, and his hair stood on end as his heart rapidly thumped. Within the historical remnant, Zhao Fu, who was lying on the altar, seemed to be in immense pain. His expression was quite terrifying, and there were wounds all over his body. Traces of blood flowed out of his body and flowed towards the black crystal ball. The black crystal orb absorbed Zhao Fu's blood and gave off an intense demonic light as it started to quickly spin in the air. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the massive black sun in the outside world gave off an even more intense black light. It exploded out with a heaven-toppling aura that swept out in all directions like a boundless ocean. This caused the higher beings attacking the evil spirit abyss flower to feel quite startled, and they all looked up at the massive black sun. The black sun in the sky gave off a ferocious aura as it continuously rose higher and higher before slowly disappearing. No one present could react to what had happened. Suddenly, the power of the world once again furiously gathered, and the entire world fell into chaos. The clouds surged and wild winds blew. The lights seemed to dim, and the demonic energy from all directions gathered like seawater. An extremely dangerous aura slowly spread out from the sky and permeated the air, seeming to fill the entire heavens and earth. Within the demon domain, countless people seemed to sense something and stopped what they were doing. They came outside and looked in Zhao Fu's direction. The expressions of countless higher beings fell, and they hurriedly retreated, wanting to leave this region. None of them had thought that the abnormal signs would happen again, and it was even more intense than the evil flower bewitching world. The young girl looked quite shocked. She finally sensed the dangerous aura that her grandfather had spoken of, but she had never thought that it would be so terrifying. Her body felt as if it had fallen into icy water, and she could not help but tremble. Boom! The heavens and earth seemed to explode as a massive might descended. The higher beings attacking the evil spirit abyss flower all suffered a backlash and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Countless traces of blood-red light spread out in the sky as an aura of disaster flooded out. An incredibly massive blood-red star giving off an incredibly terrifying aura slowly descended in the sky. Boom! Chapter 1509. Boom! Another explosion sounded out as countless traces of ghostly chi filled the sky, causing the surrounding temperature to plummet. A cold and eerie aura filled the heavens and earth as a gray star that looked like a moon, giving off boundless ghostly energy, descended from the sky. Boom! However, the shocking explosions did not end there, and a purple devilish light once again sounded out, covering the entire sky. A massive wave of devilish chi flowed down from the sky into the mortal world, and a massive violet dragon, star giving off a powerful might gradually appeared. The four emperor stars gave off their own resplendent lights, giving off an aura that seemed to suppress all life. As they stood there, the scene seemed to freeze, and the world seemed to be locked down by an unimaginably powerful power, causing all living beings to feel despair. Four emperor stars. Everyone present was incredibly shocked as they stared at the sky with wide eyes. They had never thought that four emperor stars would suddenly descend, and three of them were the supreme emperor stars of the three races. However, why had four emperor stars suddenly descended? There was only one answer. The evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's legatee was actually the possessor of the four emperor stars that the entire heaven domain had been searching for. This was simply too shocking, and massive waves crashed in everyone's hearts. The higher being who had felt that Zhao Fu's aura was quite familiar realized that this was the aura of the possessor of four emperor stars. Di Jiang felt quite shocked. He had never thought that his daughter's bastard husband would be that mysterious and terrifying possessor of four emperor stars. He had massive secrets and could be said to be the number one person in the Heaven Awakened world. If Demoji had such a terrifying person as her husband, she would not have to worry about anything in the future, as that person would definitely surpass her. Yuan Ziyuan's mother was also incredibly shocked. Looking at the four majestic emperor stars in the sky, she understood why her daughter had taken a fancy to this person. If her daughter could have such a terrifying person as her husband, she would be delighted to accept him. If she could have this person join her faction would welcome a golden age, and the benefits would be unimaginable. The silver-haired elder and young woman understood what kind of hidden power it was. It was the power of the Emperor Stars. The power of 4 Emperor Stars was indeed incredibly terrifying and could cause people to feel despair. Demoji and Yuan Ziyuan were equally shocked. Even though Zhao Fu had never told them his identity, they could already guess that Zhao Fu's identity was extremely terrifying and would definitely surpass their imaginations. This was because they could tell from the information that Zhao Fu had leaked out. However, they had never thought that Zhao Fu would be hiding such a terrifying thing. Back then, he had said that he would let the Heaven Awakened world know his name, but he had already shaken the Heaven Awakened world. Everyone in the Heaven region knew of his existence. Zhao Fu did not deceive them, and they had never thought of having such an interaction with Zhao Fu, nor did they think of becoming his women. Wait! The 2 women suddenly thought of what Zhao Fu had said to them before. He had come to awaken the demon race's Emperor Star. Back then, they had not believed him and thought that it was impossible. However, Zhao Fu had 4 Emperor Stars, so what Zhao Fu had said was definitely true. Boom! A shocking explosion once again sounded out as boundless demonic chi gathered in the sky. All of the demonic chi in the demon domain started to roil, cheering and rejoicing because their master was about to descend into this world. The countless higher beings present looked at the sky in shock. Because they were all from the demon race, they could clearly feel their bloodlines trembling. They felt both excitement and fear towards what was in the sky. The countless creatures that had been controlled by the evil spirit abyss flower all knelt on the ground in unison, as if they were worshipping their sovereign. An incredibly terrifying power slowly descended from the sky, causing space to twist. Boundless demonic light shined down from the sky, covering the heavens and earth. All of the light in the world seemed to be devoured by darkness, and a pure and evil aura spread out like a flood. An enormous black star gave off a heaven-toppling demonic flame, looking like an enormous black fireball, and it gave off terrifying ripples. Under these ripples, the heavens and earth continuously collapsed, and cracks appeared in the sky. Countless traces of primal chaos aura flowed in, and the ground cracked and collapsed. The area at the bottom of the star was affected the most, and there was already a 1 million meter wide crater. The flowers, trees, rocks, rivers, insects, birds, beasts, and people all disappeared, turning into dust without leaving anything behind. The black star continuously descended, and the terrifying pressure felt as if a massive boulder was weighing down on one's body. Their bodies sank down, and they found it difficult to breathe, and the higher beings' expressions were quite unsightly as they continuously retreated. In the end, the demon star stopped in the sky and completed its descent, giving off boundless black light that shook the entire world. The countless people present looked incredibly shocked as they looked at the black star in the sky. This was the demon race's Demon Lord Star. The supreme Emperor Star that represented the demon race had actually been awakened by that person. Within the historical remnant, Zhao Fu's body was covered by countless traces of black starlight. The demon star's power continuously entered Zhao Fu's body, continuously increasing Zhao Fu's power and improving Zhao Fu's constitution, causing Zhao Fu to once again go through changes. The Demon Lord Star's descent naturally once again shook the demon domain. Now, everyone in the demon domain looked incredibly confused as they looked at the 5 resplendent stars giving off different colors. The factions that had gone to stop the evil flower bewitching world had never thought that such a thing would happen. No one knew if the evil flower-bewitching world had stopped them, but the demon race's supreme emperor star had suddenly descended, accompanied by 4 emperor stars. The various factions did not know what was happening in the distance, but looking at the 5 stars, they understood that something shocking had happened, and they quickly gathered over. Now, the entire heaven domain had fallen into chaos because of the demon lord star's descent. Just what kind of existence was that person? Putting aside the fact that he had awakened 4 emperor stars and 3 races emperor stars, he had also awakened the demon race's supreme emperor star. Suddenly, he had 4 of the heaven-awakened world's supreme emperor stars. This was simply too terrifying. Every emperor star required a massive amount of fate, an incredibly pure bloodline, and extraordinary talent to awaken a single emperor star. Awakening 1 emperor star was already incredibly difficult, and only a small number of people in the heaven-awakened world could awaken one. However, this person had 5 emperor stars, and 4 of them represented different races. This person was most likely hiding something incredible. Back then, Zhao Fu had awakened his emperor star at the boundary of the heaven-awakened world, and they had been unable to sense where he was. Now, Zhao Fu had awakened his emperor star in the demon domain, and the higher beings could clearly sense the ripples. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 15:10. What shook the most was the natural domain. All of Emperor Path College's higher beings teachers looked incredibly serious. They now understood what was going on. Back then, that person had been able to enter the forbidden region so easily and obtain the evil spirit abyss flower's power. So he had such an identity. However, back then, they had not been able to discover Zhao Fu's true identity and had allowed him to leave. If they had been able to keep him in Emperor Path College, he would have become the most terrifying student in Emperor Path College's history. No one could compare to his potential, and just his heaven's secrets alone were dozens of times greater than that of higher beings. However, now that that person had caused massive waves in the demon domain, what should they do? Emperor Path College had some affinity with Zhao Fu, and last time, Zhao Fu had come to visit Emperor Path College. However, now that so many higher beings had gotten involved, this matter was not something they could decide, and they were powerless to stop so many higher beings. Now, only the Dean, who had been in closed-door cultivation, could change anything. The evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor had been sealed in Emperor Path College by him, so this matter was related to him. Perhaps the Dean would interfere, so everyone discussed and decided to report this matter. Within the Heaven Path sect, an elder giving off a terrifying aura had been paying attention to Zhao Fu this entire time. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would suddenly appear in the demon domain, so he immediately hurried over. He wanted to know just what kind of existence Zhao Fu was. Moreover, the first Emperor Star that Zhao Fu had awakened was the human race's supreme Emperor Star. Perhaps that person was a pure human, and if the human race had such a terrifying genius, it would be a great blessing for the human race. Of course, they could not allow such a person to die in the demon domain. Moreover, the elder was quite curious as to why Zhao Fu had 5 Emperor Stars, and he was quite eager to see him. As the largest organization in the Heaven Awakened world that sold books, the Heavenly Book Pavilion's people were all incredibly excited because this was a shocking matter. A shocking number of higher beings had gathered, and this was the first time in the past 10,000 years that so many higher beings had gathered. This matter would definitely be recorded in history, and future generations would be shocked. Also, the Heavenly Book Pavilion had been paying attention to Zhao Fu from the very beginning. They were also curious about who he was, where he came from, and what he looked like. If they could obtain these things, then the books they were selling would definitely be crazily fought over. After all, this matter had attracted the attention of the entire Heaven domain, and it had a massive impact. There were naturally many people who wanted to know about it, and there were most likely many people waiting for them to write about the 5 Emperor Stars descending. The people of the Pavilion of Heavenly Mysteries had already gathered together, all of them wearing solemn expressions as they asked the white-robed young lady for instructions. Fate Sovereign, now that the various factions of the Heaven Domain are hurrying over, How about we go and take a look at this extraordinary person with 5 Emperor stars? Yeah, this is a rare opportunity. He actually awakened his devil star in the heaven domain. We were able to find his location based on the fluctuations in the weather, but in the future he will awaken in a faraway place, and there will be a huge heaven's fate barrier, so we won't be able to find his location. I agree with this idea. That person has been hiding something, and we've always been curious about it. If we can see him, the mysteries around him will be solved, and we'll understand what's going on. I'm worried about what's going to happen next. Now that this person has 5 Emperor stars, this is unprecedented. Countless higher beings are hurrying over, and it's possible that such a genius will die a horrible death. The Fate Sovereign shook her head and refused, saying, "The Pavilion of Heavenly Mysteries is here to investigate heaven's fate and not to personally participate. The higher-ups have already ordered that we are not to participate in anything related to this person." Hearing this, everyone could only sigh and do not say anything. However, some people could not help but feel curious and went to ask about what was happening. The Heaven Spirit financial groups, terrifying figures, also hurried over to the demon domain. From the moment the Devil Star had descended, Zhao Fu's bloodline had once again gone through a terrifying upgrade. It had gone from an ordinary divine bloodline to a high-grade divine bloodline, and the person in charge of observing it had come to report in shock. The Heaven Spirit Financial Group had been paying close attention to Zhao Fu from the very beginning, and they had resisted the pressure from countless higher beings who wanted to kill Zhao Fu. They had also secretly supported Zhao Fu and given him a supreme-level account. Now that Zhao Fu had appeared in the Heaven Domain, they were both excited and curious. Just who was this terrifying person that they had been paying close attention to? Why was he so terrifying? Why was his bloodline continuously becoming more and more terrifying? By now, they could guess that Zhao Fu was in quite a difficult situation, but they wanted to go and take a look. If they could help, they would naturally do so. Moreover, they had been secretly supporting him this entire time, and even if they could not help him, they could at least see what the outcome was. After hearing about this, Feng Qianhua looked incredibly shocked. Nothing had ever made her feel so shocked before, and she had never thought that Zhao Fu had 5 Emperor stars. However, she now understood why Zhao Fu had a divine bloodline and the highest grade Dragon Phoenix bloodline. Thinking about that, Feng Qianhua loudly laughed. She finally understood why Zhao Fu was so attractive to her. It seemed that her judgment had not been wrong. Zhao Fu was not simple at all, and she wanted him even more. This time, her mother fully supported her. If they could capture him, the benefits to the human Phoenix Empire would be unimaginable. If they could not capture him, they would definitely kill him. With his potential, he would definitely cause a catastrophe. At the same time, Feng Qianhuang planned to personally take a higher being to see just what kind of existence Zhao Fu was and why he had so many terrifying things. Perhaps he really was hiding some massive secret. Otherwise, how could someone from the outskirts have such terrifying potential? Of course, it was also possible that he was the reincarnation of a celestial. The Sword Sect's elders had gathered together, and the sect master sighed in amazement. This boy's talent is simply shocking. Luiwei, are you really not going to consider him as your husband? With his current status, you might not even be a good match for him. Another elder lightly laughed as he said, with this person's potential and terrifying sword intent, if he joins the Sword Sect, he will definitely become the next sect master. He and Luiwei would be a match made in heaven. No one is more suitable than him. Jian Luiwei frowned and said coldly, "Father, elder, don't worry about my matters. You should worry about that person's safety. All of the higher beings in the heaven domain are gathering there. I just feel that it is a pity to lose that celestial slaying grade sword intent." Chapter 15:11. Another elder nodded and said, "That's right. For the Heaven Awakened world, to be able to give birth to such a terrifying genius is the Heaven Awakened world's fortune. Perhaps his appearance can change the Heaven Awakened world situation. Also, the outer world is continuously corroding the Heaven Awakened world, and there seems to be another world attacking from the void on the other side. The Heaven Awakened world situation is quite dangerous, and heroes are born in troubled times. Perhaps he can save the heaven-awakened world. Another elder thought of something and said, "Did you all sense that this person's blood-red star's aura is the same as the chaos evil sword's aura?" These words caused everyone to feel quite startled. They carefully sensed the chaos imperial star's aura and found that it was indeed the same as the chaos evil sword's aura. Was that terrifying chaos evil sword in this person's hands? Thinking about that, everyone felt quite delighted. The sword sect master led the powerful elders and Jian Luiyue towards the demon domain. No matter what their goal was, they had to go and take a look. The devil domain's dragon people all looked quite shocked. They had never thought that old Ninth's legatee would have such a terrifying background. With 5 emperor stars, his might could shake the heavens and earth and cause all creatures to submit. A dragon race higher being sighed in amazement. Old Ninth's legatee is simply too powerful. How could he find such a terrifying person as his legatee? Old Ninth can die without regrets now that he has such an extraordinary legatee. Another dragon race higher being said, "I have no objections if he sits on the throne of 10,000 dragons and becomes the ruler of the dragon race. With his potential, he will definitely lead the dragon race to a glorious era." A coarse-looking higher being said, "This person's bloodline isn't pure, and he already has 4 races supreme emperor stars. Who knows what race he is? I don't think he's fit to be the ruler of the dragon race." This higher being was a supporter of the current ruler of the dragon race, so he naturally would not support an outsider. An elderly higher being frowned and said, "Now is not the time to argue about this. This person is in danger, and after all, he's old Ninth's legatee. Let's see if we can save his life. As for the Dragon Lord position, we can talk about that in the future." A cold-looking dragon race higher being said with a serious expression, "I'm afraid this is not a simple matter. Who knows how many higher beings have gone, and we won't be able to protect him." In the end, the mighty figures of the dragon clan turned into streams of light and left. They planned to head to the demon realm to see how the situation was. Back then, when Zhao Fu had gone to the underworld, he had caused a massive commotion, and many people knew of Zhao Fu's existence. However, Zhao Fu only had 4 emperor stars, yet he now had 5. Such a fast rate of growth was truly frightening. It was not something an ordinary person could compare to. Now, countless people from the underworld planned to come to the heaven-awakened world to see just what kind of person the 6 paths demon images have been infuriated and wanted to kill. They did not want to save Zhao Fu, nor did they want to kill Zhao Fu. They were purely there to watch the show. In the end, the gazes returned to the demon domain. The number of higher beings gathered here had already reached a horrifying 500 or so. Every single one of them was an existence that caused countless people to feel fear. Now, all of the higher beings looked incredibly shocked as they looked at the 5 emperor stars in the sky. Only at such a close distance could they sense how terrifying they were. Right now, the abnormal signs were still in effect, and the 5 emperor stars were being buffed by boundless heaven and earth power. The higher beings did not dare to act. As if they did, they would suffer a terrifying backlash from heaven and earth power. Those who were lightly injured would cough up blood, and those who were heavily injured would be heavily injured. However, the higher beings already wanted to kill Zhao Fu. They had already destroyed the evil flower bewitching world, and there was enmity between them. They had to kill Zhao Fu, or else if they allowed someone as terrifying as Zhao Fu to leave, their fates would be quite terrible. The abnormal signs had not disappeared, and the higher beings unleashed their various abilities to search for where Zhao Fu was. Based on the ripples that Zhao Fu gave off, they were able to easily find where Zhao Fu was. Suddenly, the heaven and earth power started to dissipate, and the abnormal signs gradually calmed down. The power that the 5 emperor stars gave off also started to weaken and slowly disappear. The higher beings all smiled. Now that the heaven and earth power had dissipated, they did not have to worry about the backlash from heaven and earth power. They could directly attack and blast open the historical remnant hidden in the void and find that evil spirit abyss legatee. They wanted to see just what a person with 5 Emperor stars was like. Boom, boom, boom. The higher beings gave off terrifying auras and sent out wild gales as they swung their weapons, sending out sharp lights filled with destructive auras towards the void. The void directly shattered, revealing the historical remnant hidden within. The historical remnant instinctively sensed immense danger and automatically gave off a powerful barrier to protect itself. Boom, boom, boom. The higher beings once again unleashed their attacks, and terrifying power blasted against the barrier, causing it to violently tremble. It was unable to withstand the attacks of so many higher beings, and it started to shatter. A trace of coldness appeared in the higher beings' eyes as they prepared to rush into the historical remnant. Demoji looked at her father pleadingly. Facing so many higher beings, it was impossible for Zhao Fu to survive. Only by relying on her father would Zhao Fu have a chance at survival. Di Jiang felt quite troubled, but he still brought his higher beings and gave off his aura as he said loudly, "Everyone, this person is already my son-in-law. This person is already my son-in-law. Can you let him off this time? I can guarantee that this person will not harm anyone else. Can everyone give the Demon Emperor sect some face?" As one of the top-ranked factions in the Demon Domain, the Demon Emperor sect had some prestige, and many higher beings stopped. A lewd-looking man loudly laughed as he said, "Di Jiang, I never thought that your daughter would become an evil flower emissary. I never thought that your daughter would also become an evil flower emissary. What a pity. She's the Demon Domain's #1 beauty, and even I've wanted her for a long time. However, if you want us to spare him just like that, you're dreaming." A big, bearded man laughed as he said, "That's right, we can't spare this person. Who knows if he'll take revenge on us in the future. Moreover, this person not only has the power to harm the Demon Domain, but he also has some sort of massive secret, or else he would not have awakened 5 Emperor stars." An ugly-looking old man said, "This sovereign must obtain this person. As long as I can capture this person, no matter what terrifying things he is hiding, they will all belong to this sovereign. This person's corpse is definitely a supreme treasure in the world." Chapter 15:12. The higher beings here not only wanted to kill Zhao Fu, who had brought disaster to the Demon Domain, but they also wanted to obtain the heaven-defying things that Zhao Fu had hidden. Even Zhao Fu's corpse would be a supreme treasure. Just thinking about the 5 Emperor stars he had, it would be obvious. Hearing these words, a trace of anger appeared on Di Jiang's face. Even with the higher beings on his side, there were only 7 of them. How could they stop 500 or so higher beings? Yuan Ziyuan looked at her mother, and the beautiful woman smiled and nodded. She brought the higher beings from her faction and flew towards Di Jiang as she said, "This person is my beloved daughter's husband. Would you all be willing to spare him? Ha ha ha. You're just interested in this person's potential. If he joins my faction, I'll naturally spare him. However, I can't compete with you over him, so it's best to kill him. Don't let anyone have him. Do you think you can stop us with just a few of you?" A higher being said as he disdainfully laughed. However, a few higher beings stood out and said, "This person has our demon race's bloodline and a supreme Emperor star. It would be a pity to kill him. Every supreme Emperor star can greatly affect a race." That's right. The various domains people are quickly heading over, and their goal is definitely to steal this person. How about we keep him alive and see what kind of person he is? However, there were very few people like this, and many higher beings could not wait any longer. The things that Zhao Fu had were simply too alluring, and some higher beings were worried that they would let the tiger return to the mountain. As such, they were determined to kill Zhao Fu. The 10 Demon Empire's people arrived and directly ignored the higher beings and charged into the historical remnant. The other higher beings did not want to fall behind and also charged in, wanting to obtain Zhao Fu. It was as if they were fighting over a supreme treasure. Jiang and the beautiful woman helplessly led their people into the historical remnant. They had long since expected this to happen. With Zhao Fu's potential and how mysterious and terrifying he was, the higher beings would not give up so easily. They could only wait and see if they had an opportunity to act. However, looking at how murderous the 10 Demon Empire's people looked, it was likely that they would not be able to save this person. By now, Zhao Fu had completed his transformation. Of course, he could sense countless higher beings surging in, but he was unable to escape. Space had already been sealed, and there were no teleportation channels that could be used. Even if he hid in the Emperor Killing Sword world, those higher beings would definitely be able to blast open the sword world, and Zhao Fu would not be able to escape. Thinking about this, Zhao Fu's expression became quite unsightly. The higher beings quickly came to the 7th level and saw a person wearing an ordinary black cloak and giving off an Earth Realm aura standing on an altar. They all looked quite surprised. They had never thought that the person with 5 Emperor stars, the incredibly mysterious person who hid heaven-defying secrets, and the person the entire heaven domain had been searching for was this person. If it wasn't for the fact that the aura he gave off was the same as the 5 Emperor stars, they definitely would not believe that this pitifully weak person was the owner of the 5 Emperor stars. The 10 Demon Empire's emperor coldly looked at Zhao Fu and said in a dignified tone, "You're the person with 5 Emperor stars?" Now, whether Zhao Fu admitted it or not did not matter. Even though Zhao Fu felt immense fear facing a higher being, he did not show any fear and replied in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. "Yes." The 10 Demon Empire's emperor's eyes gave off killing intent as he said, "If you weren't the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor's legatee and submitted to my 10 Demon Empire, I wouldn't care about what heaven-defying things you have, and I might even protect you. However, it's a pity that you're his legatee. You can die now." Zhao Fu felt quite startled. He only had a legatee relationship with the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor, and they were enemies. The next time they met, he would definitely kill him. This was because Zhao Fu's evil spirit Abyss Flower's power was not something the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor had willingly given to him, but it had been forcefully taken by the magic formation and sent into Zhao Fu's body. Their relationship was not good, and it was not a master-disciple relationship. The 10 Demon Empire's emperor stretched out a hand. He could easily crush someone with low cultivation like Zhao Fu to death, and he felt that it was a pity that such a peerless person with 5 Emperor stars would die at his hands. He has a divine bloodline. Suddenly, a shriek rang out, accompanied by an extremely shocked voice. It came from a supreme being with a fair and clean face. Everyone felt quite startled and sensed Zhao Fu's aura. Indeed, he had a divine bloodline, and they all looked quite shocked. Zhao Fu did not dare to hide his aura, and the other higher beings did not notice because they had been attracted by Zhao Fu's low strength. If it wasn't for the fair-faced higher being crying out, no one would have noticed. The 10 Demon Empire's emperor, who had been about to act, could not help but stop, and everyone else also stopped. This was because this matter involved holy empires, which reigned far above empires. If there really were celestials in the world, they would definitely be in holy empires, and many higher beings feared holy empires. If this person had some heaven-defying item and could awaken 5 Emperor stars, perhaps as long as he was someone from a holy empire, everything could be explained. No wonder his identity had always been so mysterious. Of course, there were many people who were suspicious because Zhao Fu's strength was too low and he was too low-key. Moreover, it had been a long time since someone from a holy empire had appeared in the world. However, now that Zhao Fu's identity was related to a holy empire, everyone started to hesitate. Even the most powerful 10 Demon Empire did not dare to directly face a holy empire. Following this, the Emperor General and the beautiful woman rushed over and felt quite startled. They understood why their daughter had chosen him as her husband and let out a sigh of relief. Now that Zhao Fu was related to a holy empire, the higher beings feared holy empires and started to hesitate. This matter was much easier to deal with than before. You're a holy son? What holy empire is that? The Ten Demon Empire's emperor asked as he looked at Zhao Fu seriously. After all, his next decision could put his empire in danger. The other higher beings looked at Zhao Fu. They all wanted the heaven-defying item that Zhao Fu had and wanted to get rid of this scourge, but because they feared holy empires, they did not dare to act. Now, they could only see what Zhao Fu had to say. If he could say that he was from a holy empire, they naturally would not dare to act and allow Zhao Fu to leave. Chapter 15:13. Facing the Ten Demon Empire's emperor's question and the gazes of countless higher beings, the atmosphere became deathly silent. Zhao Fu could not speak because he did not know about holy empires. If he spoke, he would definitely reveal that he was not a holy son. Without the protection of a holy son, these higher beings would not have any reservations and would directly kill Zhao Fu. Everything on him, including his corpse, would be taken by them. In actuality, the heaven-defying item they were looking for was the thing that had allowed Zhao Fu to awaken so many Emperor's stars. It was the origin mark that Tuo Biqing had given him back then, and it was incredibly tempting to higher beings. They would do everything in their power to obtain it. The higher beings looked at Zhao Fu and waited for Zhao Fu's reply. However, Zhao Fu was unable to answer at all, and the scene fell deathly silent. Time gradually passed, and the higher beings' gazes towards Zhao Fu became quite unfriendly. Zhao Fu could only muster up his confidence and courage as he calmly replied, "Why should I tell you where I come from? Do you have a right to tell me?" SSS. The higher beings all gasped. The Ten Demon Empire was one of the top 3 factions in the demon domain, and let alone the demon domain, even the heaven domain, no one dared to speak to him like this. Ordinary people would be completely obliterated, but this was a holy son. A trace of anger appeared on the Ten Demon Empire's emperor's face as he asked coldly, "Which holy empire do you come from? Take out your proof of identity, or this sovereign will immediately kill you here." The higher beings once again looked at Zhao Fu. If Zhao Fu could not take out proof, they would not be 100% certain that Zhao Fu was a holy son just because of his divine bloodline. Zhao Fu felt a headache coming on and could not continue pretending because Zhao Fu did not have any proof at all. Seeing this, the Ten Demon Empire's emperor gave a cold smile. He had already made up his mind and slowly stretched out a hand, preparing to do something. Suddenly, boundless blood-red light spread out, covering the heavens and earth in an instant. Massive blood-red flowers giving off terrifying auras slowly bloomed. There were 12 flowers in total, and they were also evil spirit abyss flowers. However, they were not Zhao Fu's evil spirit abyss flowers. The evil spirit abyss flowers bloomed in the air, and each flower was 100,000 meters long, causing the higher beings to feel quite startled. The 12 evil spirit abyss flowers gave off auras that could rival ordinary higher beings' auras. The 12 evil spirit abyss flowers gave off terrifying auras as they started to spin and their petals started to fall. Terrifying power gathered at the center of the flowers, forming 12 small black orbs that gave off countless arcs of black lightning. The higher beings' expressions fell, and they hurriedly retreated because the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers were about to self-destruct. Once the 12 black orbs exploded, it would be equivalent to 12 ordinary higher beings self-destructing. Thinking about how terrifying the self-destruction of 12 higher beings would be, they would definitely die if they got too close. The petals continuously fell, and the black orbs at the center of the flowers became larger and larger. The terrifying power they gave off became stronger and stronger, and countless destructive arcs of black lightning flashed, causing the world to feel terror. The higher beings did not understand what was going on, and they looked quite panicked as they unleashed defensive barriers and quickly retreated. A look of terror appeared on Zhao Fu's face as his body trembled under this destructive power. Once the 12 black orbs exploded, even higher beings could die, let alone someone with Earth realm cultivation like him. Swish, swish, swish. The following scene caused Zhao Fu to feel quite surprised. Even though the 12 black orbs were around Zhao Fu, they did not self-destruct around Zhao Fu and instead turned into rays of light and shot towards the fleeing higher beings. Even though Zhao Fu did not understand what was going on, he quickly ran in the opposite direction of the black orbs and unleashed his own defensive barrier. Boom, boom, boom. Shocking explosions sounded out as a terrifying black wave of light spread out, tearing apart space. The ground, rocks, mountains, flowers, grass, and demonic beasts were all annihilated by that power and turned into nothingness, causing the heavens and earth to continuously tremble. The massive historical remnant hidden in the void was directly blasted apart and black light shot out. Countless boulders containing terrifying power shot out in all directions, and a ferocious shockwave blasted out in all directions, causing countless boulders to roll and trees to be destroyed. Zhao Fu was hit by the shockwaves of the explosion, and he lay on the ground, covered with blood. His body was covered with injuries. Fortunately, the black orbs were quite far away from Zhao Fu, or else it was possible that Zhao Fu would have died there. The higher beings at the center of the explosion were not in a good state either. Their hair and clothes were in disarray, and there was blood at the corners of their lips. The higher beings closest to them were heavily injured, but because they had been prepared, none of them had died. The 10 Demon Empire's emperor seemed to be completely fine and walked out from the boundless void. He coldly looked at Zhao Fu with a trace of mockery, thinking that it was Zhao Fu who had done that. "You'll definitely die today," the 10 Demon Empire's emperor said coldly. He had long since confirmed that Zhao Fu was not a holy son, and he raised his hand, preparing to kill the heavily injured Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not hesitate and used his final life-saving trump card. The other 4 Emperor stars in the sky had long since disappeared, and only the Demon Lord star was still there. The 12 evil spirit abyss flowers outside the historical remnant, and even though they were damaged, they were not dead. Ark! Zhao Fu roared as the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers burst into black flames. The fiery light rushed into the sky, and an extremely dark and evil power spread out, sending out massive gales. The Demon Lord star, which was originally faintly discernible in the sky, seemed to have been summoned by some sort of power. It once again brought with it a terrifying sense of oppression, and a boundless black light appeared in the sky. The higher beings hurrying over from the other domains felt quite surprised. Before, the Emperor stars had disappeared, so they had thought that the matter was over. They had never thought that the Demon Lord star would suddenly light up. Boom! The Demon Lord star exploded with a monstrous aura that swept through the heavens and earth. The clouds in the sky instantly dissipated, and countless mountain peaks were shaved off. Many of the higher beings who had rushed over could not help but stop and slightly block the attacking aura. They looked up and saw an enormous blood-red, evil spirit abyss flower at the center of the Demon Lord star. The Demon Lord star's appearance greatly changed, and it looked like an eye in the sky. As soon as this eye appeared, boundless black light spread out, covering the heavens and earth. The higher beings present and those hurrying over were bound by a formless energy, and their eyes became slightly black. The 10 Demon Empire's emperor, who was about to attack Zhao Fu, also froze. Chapter 15:14. After Zhao Fu's body was devoured by the monster disappeared, and the Demon Lord star in the sky gradually disappeared. The evil flower bewitching world's effect was dispelled, and the heavens and earth returned to normal. All of the higher beings' expressions became quite unsightly. They had never thought that the evil flower bewitching world would fuse with the Demon Lord star. Now, they did not need the 12 evil spirit abyss flowers and could use the Demon Lord star to unleash the evil flower bewitching world. However, the first time the evil flower bewitching world was buffed by heaven and earth power, its power would be incredibly terrifying, and the evil spirit abyss flower could only unleash it once in its lifetime. Even if it could be unleashed a second or third time, it would not be buffed by heaven and earth power, and could only rely on one's own power. However, if the Demon Lord Star fused with the evil flower bewitching world, it would still be able to unleash a portion of its terrifying power. The higher beings hurrying over from all directions returned to normal and felt quite startled. They quickly hurried over and saw that the scene was a complete mess, and the higher beings' expressions were quite unsightly. They did not find the person with the 5 Emperor stars, causing the higher beings' hearts to sink. They did not know if that person was dead or alive. Only after asking the higher beings present did they find out that the person with the 5 Emperor stars had escaped. Everyone looked quite confused. That person had been able to escape from so many higher beings. His abilities were quite shocking. They had hurried over from countless worlds, but they had not even seen the person with the 5 Emperor stars, causing them to look quite disappointed. After looking around for a while, they started to return. This massive gathering of higher beings came to an end because of Zhao Fu's disappearance. However, Zhao Fu once again became a hot topic in the heaven domain. Everyone was talking about him, and Zhao Fu's fame reached its peak. Where was Zhao Fu now? After Zhao Fu had been devoured by the monster, he had fallen unconscious. When Zhao Fu weakly opened his eyes, 12 peerlessly beautiful women appeared in front of him. Zhao Fu felt quite startled and did not understand what was going on. However, he could sense that the 12 women gave off the evil spirit Abyss Flower's aura. Who are you? Zhao Fu understood that it was them who had saved him, and he felt quite confused as he looked at the 12 beautiful women in front of him. The one in the lead was a dignified and beautiful woman, and she lightly laughed as she said, "Haven't you guessed who we are? We could be considered your master's wives, your master's women, and your master's evil flower emissaries." Zhao Fu instantly understood their identities and felt incredibly nervous. Zhao Fu did not have a teacher, and since the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor was his enemy, his 12 evil flower emissaries were also his enemies. If they knew about his true relationship with the evil spirit Abyss Flower ancestor, they would immediately kill him. He could not let them know about this. Right now, he was heavily injured and didn't have any strength left in his body. If they wanted to kill him, he wouldn't be able to resist at all. Zhao Fu gave a slight smile as he said, "Many thanks for saving my life, madams." The beautiful woman in the lead smiled as she said, "Your master chose you as his legatee and even passed down all of his power to you. This shows how much he values and loves you. As your master's wife, how could we let you die? You didn't disappoint your master either. Not only do you have 5 Emperor stars, but you also have a divine bloodline. You'll definitely surpass your master and become the most dazzling person in the world." Zhao Fu felt quite embarrassed and gave a shy smile as he said, "Mistress, you praise me too much. In actuality, I'm not as good as you make me out to be." Seeing how shy Zhao Fu was, the 12 mistresses felt more favorable toward Zhao Fu. If Zhao Fu was like before, he would definitely be quite annoying. The beautiful woman in the lead lightly laughed as she said softly, "All right, don't be so humble. We're all your mistresses and can be counted as your family, so there's no need to be so reserved. Your injuries are quite severe and you need a rest, so we won't disturb you." Following this, the mistresses left the room, and Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief and started to recover from his injuries. In the next few days, under the careful care of the mistresses, Zhao Fu's injuries quickly recovered, and he understood how they had saved him. He found out that they had self-detonated their cultivation, which could rival higher beings, and that they had sacrificed their evil flower demon to save him. Zhao Fu felt quite grateful. First, self-detonating such a high cultivation was something that very few people could do. Moreover, using the Demon Lord Star to unleash the evil flower bewitching world could only stop the higher beings for a moment, and he would not have been able to get far before being caught. The main thing was that they had saved him. Because they were evil flower emissaries, they were naturally not affected by the evil flower bewitching world. This explained why that monster could move around under the effects of the evil flower bewitching world. Over the past few days, the two sides had become much more familiar with each other, and their relationship had greatly improved. They were now like a family. Now, Zhao Fu was within a secret realm where the 12 mistresses lived. Ever since the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor had been sealed, they had been hiding here. If it wasn't for Zhao Fu unleashing the evil flower bewitching world, they would not have known of his existence. Zhao Fu decided to rest here for a while to avoid the outside world and recover from his injuries before returning to Qin City. At night, a bright moon hung in the sky, giving off pure moonlight. The surroundings were incredibly silent, as if they were in a deep sleep. There was no sound, and there was a trace of coolness. Yi Er, a voluptuous, beautiful, and flirtatious woman stealthily walked into Zhao Fu's room and called out softly. Zhao Fu did not tell them his real name, and instead told them that he was called Mo Yi. What is it? Ninth mistress? Zhao Fu was quite familiar with them, and naturally knew their information. The one who came in was the ninth mistress, and she was called Qing Lu. Qing Lu sat by Zhao Fu's bed with a sorrowful expression and sighed as she said, "Your master has been sealed for thousands of years, and I miss him. You should know that the evil spirit abyss flower also has intense lust. I've been bitterly here for thousands of years, and I don't know how long I've been like this." Seeing how pitiful the ninth mistress was, Zhao Fu understood and lightly hugged her. Qing Lu gently struggled, and her face became red and her eyes became lustful. Qing Lu madly demanded things from Zhao Fu, wanting to make up for the thousands of years of loneliness. As evil flower emissaries, they could only be the evil spirit abyss flower's women, and no one else could touch them. Even though they were not Zhao Fu's evil flower emissaries, Zhao Fu had inherited all of the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's power and his 12 evil flower emissaries. Chapter 15:15. Qing Li's change caused the other mistresses to feel a bit confused, but they did not pay too much attention to it. Everyone passed the day as usual. Everyone's main goal was to recover their cultivations. They had self-detonated their cultivations, causing their cultivations to fall greatly. Now, they only had divine realm cultivation, and it would take a long time for them to recover to their peak. That night, Qing Lu gave a flirtatious smile and once again came to Zhao Fu's room. Zhao Fu lightly smiled and hugged her. Qing Lu leaned into Zhao Fu's embrace and wrapped her arms around Zhao Fu's waist as she pouted. "I thought you were a very honest fellow, but I never thought you'd be so bad. However, you're much more powerful than your master, making me so infatuated with you." Zhao Fu smiled and prepared to have another good taste of this beautiful woman. Because of the 6 desires demonic art, Zhao Fu could recover his strength through doing it. Qing Lu cutely interrupted Zhao Fu and said softly, "Yi Er, you haven't recovered from your injuries, so it's better to let mistress serve you." Zhao Fu nodded with a smile, and the two began to make love again. The next day, Qing Li's changes were even greater. Her face was red, and her body gave off an alluring aura. She gave off an indescribable charm that could make people feel moved. Most importantly, the power that Qing Lu gave off was actually faster than the others. This caused some of the master's wives to feel that something was off and asked Qing Lu what was going on. Of course, Qing Lu would not tell them about Zhao Fu, as they were still the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor's women in name and had deep feelings for the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor. They were also Zhao Fu's wives. Seeing that they couldn't get anything out of him, the mistresses were a little suspicious, but they didn't continue. On the third night, Qing Lu couldn't help but come to Zhao Fu's room again. The two of them didn't say much and started to get down to business. Suddenly, a few beautiful women barged in, and when they saw Qing Lu panting under Zhao Fu's body, they revealed expressions of as expected. She was the 8th madam, and her name was Yin Qianlan. She said somewhat angrily, "That's enough. 9th sister, don't be afraid. We knew that you were enjoying yourself here, but you didn't even tell us. That's right. To think that you're eating all the food for yourself. As sisters, you're going too far. Don't you know that we're suffering every day?" A graceful and flirtatious woman said unhappily. She was the 7th mistress, and her name was Gu Qianmei. a seductive woman who looked quite bold and cheerful lightly harumphed as she said, "Ye heir, you can't just satisfy your ninth Shenyang and let her enjoy it alone. We are all your Shenyang." She was the 10th mistress, named Pianju. There was also a beautiful woman who looked quite shy. She was the 12th Madam Yin Xiaoqi. Seeing how Zhao Fu was ravaging Qing Lu, she looked quite shocked and could not help but say, "Ye heir, he's so strong." Qing Li's face was filled with shame, too embarrassed to face the other 4 girls. Zhao Fu smiled and walked towards the 4 beautiful women. The 4 beautiful women's faces became slightly red, and everyone started to do it. After that, the girls lay beside Zhao Fu with flushed faces and panting. The 8th Martial Madam Yin Qianlan said happily, "Ye heir, I've truly fallen in love with you. You can do whatever you want of me in the future." The 7th mistress, Gu Qianmei, gave a flirtatious smile as she said, "Ye heir is quite powerful. Even if there were a few hundred more women, they would not be a match for him. He's dozens of times better than your master, and you can do whatever you want with me in the future." The 10th mistress, Pianju, lightly harumphed as she said, "This fellow isn't as honest as he looks. Who knows how many women he's toyed with. His actions are incredibly skilled, but it's the first time I've experienced such pleasure." The 12th Madam Yin Xiaoqi said worriedly, "We can't let big sister, second sister, and third sister know about what happened with the heir. The 3 of them love our husband the most, and big sister is the leader of the evil flowers. If she finds out, we'll definitely be punished." Yin Qianlan lightly laughed as she said, "As long as we drag the other sisters down, big sister naturally won't punish us. We've already endured it for thousands of years. I don't believe that the other sisters can endure it." In actuality, from the moment we saved Yi heir and sensed Yi heir's power, everyone was tempted. It was just that 9th sister beat us to it. Yin Xiaoqi said somewhat guiltily, "We've let down our husband. He's still sealed, and yet we're doing this with his disciple." Qing Lu looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes and said with an infatuated look, "Husband is sealed in Emperor Path College, and it's impossible for us to save him. I've made my decision. I want to follow Yi heir and become his woman." The women all looked at Qing Lu in shock. They had never thought that she would say such a thing. After doing it with Yi heir for just a few days, she had become so infatuated with him. Gu Qianmei said flirtatiously, "I also support 9th sister. Now that we've done it with Yi heir and our soul marks have fused with him, he can control everything about us. Even if we're not willing, we can't resist Yi heir's demands." Yin Qianlan understood and hugged Zhao Fu as she smiled and said, "Then let's all become Yi heir's women. I can't leave Yi heir anyways." This was Zhao Fu's goal, to control the 12 of them so that he would not have to worry about them hurting him in the future. In the following few nights, Zhao Fu continuously did it with the 5 women, and his strength quickly recovered. The 5 women's auras also became more and more mature, and it was difficult for the other women not to notice them. However, even though the other women understood, they did not ask about it. Things between Zhao Fu and the 5 women were not brought out in the open, and everyone maintained their original appearances. The 5 women were Zhao Fu's wives during the day, but at night they became lewd women. The first to be unable to endure was the 6th madam. She was a beautiful woman with a bewitching figure and an alluring aura, and she was called Zhuo Qianli. One night, she tossed and turned and could not sleep, so she went to the courtyard by herself. She wanted to relax and get rid of the depression in her heart, but after hearing the intense sounds, she could not help but push open Zhao Fu's door. Seeing the intense scene in the room, her face became red and she joined in. Following her was the 5th madam, who was called Sherwin. She had a graceful figure and was a very elegant and beautiful woman. Looking at her sisters, whose faces were all red as they endured the extreme pleasure, she felt quite uncomfortable. She continuously hesitated and thought, but in the end, she also walked into the room filled with boundless temptation. Apart from the great madam, the 2nd madam, and the 3rd madam, There was the 11th madam and the 4th madam. Chapter 15:16. The 4th madam was an incredibly beautiful woman with an alluring figure, and she was called Yi Qianqian. Now that Zhao Fu did not have any restrictions or worries, he walked into her room that night. Yi Qianqian rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu and said, "Yi Er, what are you doing in my room? Hurry up and accompany your other madams." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I was afraid that I'd neglect 4th madam, so I came by myself." Yi Qianqian's face became slightly red as she flirtatiously looked at Zhao Fu and said, "At least you have a conscience. It's no wonder 4th madam treats you so well." Zhao Fu stood there and embarrassedly smiled. In actuality, they treated Zhao Fu extremely well and did their best to take care of Zhao Fu. They treated him like family, and Zhao Fu could not do anything to them. However, thinking about his relationship with the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor, if they knew, they definitely would not treat him so well and might even kill him. Seeing that they had paid such a price to save him, Zhao Fu did not want to become enemies with them, so he could only subdue them. "Yi Er, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and come over." Just as Zhao Fu was in a daze, Yi Qianqian had already taken off her clothes and said seductively. Hearing this, Zhao Fu smiled and walked up. In the following days, Zhao Fu and the other madams completely lost all restraint and did not hide anything. No matter if it was day or night, as long as they wanted it, they would do indescribable things. The 9 madams did their best to cooperate with Zhao Fu, and they were immersed in happiness, unable to extricate themselves. This finally caused the other 3 madams to feel dissatisfied, which were the Great Madam, 2nd Madam, and 3rd Madam. They gathered the madams and even made Zhao Fu wait outside. The Great Madam was the dignified and magnanimous woman, and she was called Gong Yuehua. The 2nd Madam was tall and slim and had a cold expression, and she was called Han Xiuzi. The 3rd Madam was quite beautiful and gave off a gentle aura, and she was called Ru Kiki. Gong Yuehua's expression was cold as she looked at the other women and said, "Recently, you and Yi Er have gone too far and are simply lawless. I know your pain, so I didn't care about you and Yi Er, but you've gone too far." Han Xiuzi also said coldly, "Back then, when Lord Husband was by your side, you were already so licentious. Now, you're doing such shameful things with Yi Er in broad daylight. How can you face Lord Husband?" Ru Kiki sighed. "Actually, we didn't want to interfere with what you did at night, but you've really gone too far, especially 9th Sister. He is still recovering from his injuries, but you actually seduced him to do that with you." 9th Madam Qing Li's face became red. She had never thought that the others would already know, but she still said resolutely, "Big sis, don't worry. I'm already Yi Er's woman, and my soul imprint has fused with Yi Er. I'm no longer Husband's evil flower emissary, and it's impossible for us to save Husband. That's right. Big sis, 2nd sister, 3rd sister, I know that you're also suffering, so why don't you enjoy it together? Lord Husband has given all of his power to Yi Er, and perhaps he knows that we're in a difficult situation and wants Yi Er to satisfy us." 7th Madam Gu Qianmei said in agreement. Yin Xiaoqi said shyly, "Big sis, 2nd sister, 3rd sister, it's not that we're going too far. It's just that Yi Er has a formless charm, and whenever we're with him, we can't take it anymore. Moreover, that feeling is something that we've never felt before." The women all spoke and gave their opinions. In the end, Gong Yuehua and the other 2 women sank into their thoughts and did not reprimand the 9 women anymore, and the gathering ended. After the gathering, the 9 women ran to Zhao Fu's room and started to enjoy themselves. They told Zhao Fu that Gong Yuehua and the other 2 women were quite tempted, and as long as Zhao Fu took the initiative, he would definitely be able to subdue the 3 of them. The first person Zhao Fu found was 3rd Madam Ru Kiki. She was working in the kitchen, and seeing Zhao Fu arrive, her face became slightly red. "3rd Madam, what are you doing?" Zhao Fu came up and gave a gentle smile as he asked Ru Kiki. Ru Kiki looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Yi Er, your injuries haven't healed yet, and you're already doing those things with those women. You haven't fully recovered from your injuries, but you're already doing those things with those mistresses. I've specially made some nourishing soup for your body." Zhao Fu wrapped his arms around Ru Keek's slim waist and smiled as he said, "Third madam, in actuality, you're the best nourishing medicine." Ru Keek's face became red, and she lightly struggled as she said, "Yer, hurry and let me go, or else I'll get angry." Zhao Fu ignored her words and took off her clothes and started to do it with her. The second person was Han Chiozi, the second madam. At night, she was under a tree, admiring the moon by herself. She was dressed in white, and under the moonlight, she looked incredibly moving. Zhao Fu did not say anything and pressed her under his body as he looked at Han Chiozi and said in amazement, "Second madam, you're so beautiful." A blush appeared on Han Chiozi's cold face. She knew what was going to happen, and she said softly, "Don't worry. Be gentle. Don't torture your mistress too much." Zhao Fu responded with a smile and began to violate her. The last one was Gong Yuehua. She sat alone in her room, lost in thought. Only when Zhao Fu walked and did she come back to her senses. Zhao Fu looked at Gong Yuehua and gave a trace of a smile as he said softly, "Big madam, I'm not afraid of you. What are you thinking about?" A trace of worry appeared on Gong Yuehua's face as she replied, "I'm thinking about your master. I wonder how he is. He has been sealed for so many years, and we can't save him." Zhao Fu slightly frowned and did not like mentioning the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor. Back then, the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor had wanted to possess him, and they were enemies. However, Zhao Fu quickly covered it up, walked forward and gently hugged her delicate body, and was about to kiss her. Gong Yuehua stretched out her hand to stop Zhao Fu and said softly, "Yer, I can give you my body and become your woman. However, I have a condition. With your potential, you'll definitely become a peerless expert in the future, and you'll definitely have the power to save your master." Zhao Fu felt quite hesitant, but he did not show it. They thought that Zhao Fu had a good relationship with the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor, and if he hesitated, they would sense that something was off. "If I have the power, I'll definitely save Master. Even if Mistress doesn't say it, I'll still save Master," Zhao Fu said seriously as he smiled. In actuality, Zhao Fu had already made the decision that even if he had the power to save the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor, he would seal him again. Gong Yuehua gave a beautiful smile and lightly nodded. She looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes and lightly hugged Zhao Fu's waist as she said with a trace of anticipation and shyness, "Come, Yer." Zhao Fu started to do it with Gong Yuehua. Following this, Zhao Fu enjoyed the 12 beautiful women. As the evil spirit Abyss Flower Ancestor's evil flower emissaries, not only were they incredibly powerful and their cultivations could rival higher beings, but their talent was also extraordinary and would be of great help to him. Chapter 15-17. Zhao Fu had also stayed in the secret land for a while. He figured that the limelight was over. After thinking for a while, he prepared to return to Qin with his 12 charming mistresses. This secret realm was called the Flower Secret Realm, and it was an extremely rare treasure that could be taken away. It was similar to a spatial ring with a large space, and it could be used to grow spirit plants. Right now, there were countless spiritual plants growing in the mystic realm. Each of them was very valuable, such as the 1,000-year-old 100 spirit grass, the 2,000-year-old red dragon fruit, the 4,000-year-old water tree, the 3,000-year-old oxsnake flower. These spiritual plants were all personally planted by the 12 mistresses. Obtaining this secret realm was equivalent to obtaining a treasure trove, and its value was extremely shocking. Zhao Fu was pleasantly surprised. After coming out of the secret realm, the 12th madam continuously performed hand seals, causing rays of red light to shoot into the boundless void. Countless rays of red light shot out from the void, giving off a massive aura. The red light continued to condense and finally formed a small red flower. It floated down from the sky and landed in Gong Yuehua's hand. This was the secret realm of flowers. Gong Yuehua's face was filled with a blissful smile as she looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes and said, "Ye heir, we can leave now." Zhao Fu smiled and hugged her before contacting Dimoji and the other women, telling them to gather somewhere. Seeing that Zhao Fu was fine, the women breathed a sigh of relief. However, they felt quite annoyed towards the 12 beautiful women around Zhao Fu. As the evil spirit abyss flower ancestors, evil flower emissaries, all of their looks could rival Yuan Ziyuan's and were peerless beauties. Looking at their rosy cheeks and enchanting auras, it was clear that they were worried while Zhao Fu was enjoying himself outside. Zhao Fu did not explain to them and brought them back to the multitude demon region, bringing along Yi Yi and the other women. Seeing that Zhao Fu had brought back so many women, and each one of them was as beautiful as a fairy, Yi Cha rolled her eyes, unable to speak. Zhao Fu had wanted to directly go to the Mountain River Kingdom, but after hearing that it was far away, the women pulled on Zhao Fu for a while before they were willing to leave. After spending some time, they finally arrived at the Mountain River Kingdom. When Shan Luo Shui saw Zhao Fu again, she found that Zhao Fu's aura had greatly changed, and she felt that there was a trace of darkness and evilness about him. Looking at the women around him, she slightly frowned. Back then, when Zhao Fu had sent a group of women to her place, Shan Luo Shui had been quite concerned and felt that Zhao Fu was quite a playboy. However, seeing this scene, Shan Luo Shui understood that she had been wrong. Zhao Fu was a playboy. Luckily, she and Zhao Fu were only husband and wife in name and not in reality, so she did not mind too much. However, she was quite worried that Huan Yang, who she trusted the most, had followed such a man. Zhao Fu stayed in the Mountain River Kingdom for a while before bringing the women back to Qin and concluding his trip to the Demon Domain. He had made great gains this time. Firstly, the Demon Star had awakened, and Zhao Fu now had 5 Emperor Stars. He did not fear anyone cursing him, as anyone who cursed him would die. Moreover, Zhao Fu had brought back 2 Emperor Heaven Realm experts, many extreme Divine Realm experts, and 12 beautiful middle-aged women who had not recovered their cultivations yet. Once they recovered their cultivations, each of them would be able to rival higher beings, which was the most terrifying thing. There was no need to go into detail about his other gains. After returning to Qin, Zhao Fu started to examine the changes in his body. Within Zhao Fu's eyes, there was now a pair of jet-black vertical pupils, like those of the demon race. Now, Zhao Fu's left, I had 8 different pupils, and Zhao Fu's right, I had become a cross-shaped pupil with 6 gray dots around it. Apart from the cross-shaped pupil being black, there were no other changes. Moreover, Zhao Fu's constitution and bloodline had once again greatly improved. Now, Zhao Fu had the most powerful constitution in the demon race, which was the Demon Lord constitution. Zhao Fu's compatibility with demonic qi was also the highest, and he innately had the ability to control large amounts of demonic qi. Moreover, all demonic attribute attacks on Zhao Fu were greatly weakened. Zhao Fu had a formless might that was effective against all demon race cultivators. This sort of might was something that even ordinary sovereign constitutions could not resist. After all, the Demon Lord Constitution was the lord of all demon race cultivators, which was why it was one of the most powerful constitutions in the demon race. Only those who had awakened the demon race's supreme Emperor Star would have it. Next was the bloodline. Before, Zhao Fu's bloodline had just broken through from sovereign bloodline to elementary divine bloodline. Now, Zhao Fu's bloodline had risen by another level, becoming a level 19 Orthodox divine bloodline. The difference between elementary divine bloodline and Orthodox divine bloodline was naturally quite great. Elementary divine bloodlines only had an elementary divine bloodline and were not very pure, while Orthodox divine bloodlines were divine bloodlines that were 100% pure. The increase in both of these allowed Zhao Fu's cultivation to reach the heaven realm. In actuality, within the historical remnant, after absorbing the boundless evil spirit abyss flower power, Zhao Fu's cultivation had continuously risen. By then, he had reached the peak of the Earth realm, and he had used the Demon Lord Star to awaken to break through to the Heaven realm. The further one's cultivation went, the more difficult it would be to raise. Although it seemed like Zhao Fu's cultivation was rising very slowly, it was actually quite fast. After all, Zhao Fu had only been in the Heaven Awakened world for 9 years, and rising from stage 0 to the Heaven realm was shockingly fast. Apart from this, Zhao Fu also grasped a terrifying power, which was the fusion of the evil flower bewitching world and the Demon Lord Star. Now, as long as Zhao Fu summoned the Demon Lord Star, he would be able to use the evil flower bewitching world without any restrictions. The effects would not be weak, but they would not be as strong as last time. Otherwise, Zhao Fu would have been able to sweep through both the inner and outer domains. At the same time, Zhao Fu received an even greater amount of fate, and he was acknowledged by a large amount of the demon race's fate. The Emperor Killer Curse, which had threatened Zhao Fu's life in the past, was once again greatly weakened. Now, it only had 10% of its original power, and it did not pose much of a threat to Zhao Fu. Finally, Zhao Fu's aura gave off a dark and evil demonic qi, making people instinctively feel fear. By now, Zhao Fu's bloodline was quite complicated. It had the human race, the death race, the devil race, and the demon race. Out of the 8 major bloodlines, Zhao Fu had 4, and now there were only 4 left. Now, Zhao Fu had his own plans. Since he already had 4 races Emperor Stars, he did not mind obtaining a few more. Zhao Fu started to think of a way to awaken the remaining 4 Emperor Stars. The remaining Emperor Stars were the God race's Emperor Star, the Outlander race's Emperor Star, the Water race's Emperor Star, and the Spirit race's Emperor Star. Chapter 1518. Those were the benefits of awakening the Demon Lord Star. After looking at his body, Zhao Fu could not wait to do something. That was something that Zhao Fu had been looking forward to for a long time, which was turning the world's consciousness into a life form. Every world had a world's consciousness, which was like a heavenly law that controlled everything in the world. It could also use a world's power to its greatest extent, and it was an extremely terrifying existence. However, this kind of existence did not have life, and it relied on everything in the world. It could be said that it was born from everything in the world, but it was restricted by the world and could not grow stronger. What Zhao Fu wanted was to turn the human world's consciousness into a life form that could grow and develop. If he allowed it to continuously devour other worlds' consciousnesses and fuse them into one, would the human world become a new heaven-awakened world? No, it should not become a heaven-awakened world, but a human world similar to the heaven-awakened world. If he could succeed, Zhao Fu would become the ruler of the human world, and he would become an existence similar to the heaven-awakened world. He would be able to control tens of thousands of worlds and all living beings, standing at the peak of everything and looking down on the world. Just thinking about this could make anyone feel excited. However, Zhao Fu was not sure if he would succeed, and he was not sure if the outcome would be as he expected. Fortunately, he had the sealing heaven-suppressing earth formation, or else Zhao Fu would not have the ability to gather the world's consciousness and separate it from the heaven-awakened world. Otherwise, even if he obtained the 5-colored stone, he would not be able to use it. Feeling excited, Zhao Fu went to the core tower of the sealing heaven-suppressing earth formation and looked at the beautiful blue crystal pearl floating at the center of the formation, giving off a faint blue light. Zhao Fu wanted to split off a trace of his godly soul and release a large amount of blood. With how important the human world was in the future, Zhao Fu had to use the safest methods to control it. Zhao Fu did not want it to turn on him in the future. If the blue crystal pearl fused with his godly soul and his divine bloodline, it would mean that a part of himself would fuse with the blue pearl and grow with it, allowing him to permanently control it. Splitting one's soul was extremely painful because it was equivalent to tearing one's soul apart. Zhao Fu had used this method to take over Tsang Ye's body before. At this moment, Zhao Fu's soul was separated from his body. It was a bean-sized ball of light, faintly emitting a rainbow glow. Zhao Fu's complexion was pale, and he looked much weaker. Although he had only lost a small amount of his soul, the impact was still huge. Another took out a dagger and cut his wrist. Countless drops of bright red blood with a black crystalline glow flowed out, and under the control of a formless energy, they formed a ball of blood. Under Zhao Fu's control, the two balls slowly merged into the blue crystal bead floating in midair. The blue crystal bead did not resist at all. It was very willing to accept Zhao Fu's divine soul and blood. It was also very friendly to Zhao Fu. The process was unprecedentedly smooth. This was because the blue crystal bead had the ability to condense a portion of a human world's consciousness. It cannot be forgotten that Zhao Fu had once been the world protector and had been chosen by the human world, so it was naturally very friendly to Zhao Fu and did not resist him at all. After fusing with Zhao Fu's divine soul and blood, the blue crystal bead was slightly black and blood red, and it was no longer the pure blue from before. However, the blue crystal bead still gave off a blue light. Zhao Fu took out a crystal that gave off a 5-colored light. Next, he fused it with the blue crystal and turned it into a life form. Zhao Fu carefully controlled the 5-colored crystal stone and slowly floated towards the blue crystal bead. The 5-colored crystal stone gave off an intense light and a shocking aura as it slowly fused into the blue crystal bead. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the blue crystal bead that had fused with the 5-color crystal stone became a rainbow-colored crystal bead. It gave off boundless rainbow-colored light and exploded out with a powerful aura. Heaven and earth source energy flooded out, causing the entire world to dim. The clouds quickly roiled and wild gales blew, causing countless trees to sway and the ground to continuously tremble. Sensing these changes, Qin's countless subjects stopped what they were doing and looked towards the center of the human world. The rainbow-colored crystal bead absorbed massive amounts of heaven and earth source energy and gave off even more rainbow-colored light, and its aura became more and more powerful. A circular shadow came out from the rainbow crystal bead. This shadow didn't look like anything, it looked like a ball. The ball kept changing, turning into all sorts of animals. There were goats, cows, bears, pigs. These animals were quite ordinary, but they were all creatures from Earth. Zhao Fu stared at the crystal bead, wanting to know what it would become. Boom! The heavens and earth changed as an even more powerful wave of source energy flowed into the crystal bead. The images of different animals also formed, and they finally stopped in human form. Just as the images stopped in human form, an aura that defied the heaven-awakened world's laws spread out. Dark clouds madly gathered, covering the entire sky and giving off an incredibly oppressive aura. An intense sense of danger flowed out, causing people's hearts to feel a chill. Crackle! Countless bolts of lightning that were as thick as water buckets ferociously blasted down, seeming to be able to destroy everything. The lightning lit up the entire heavens and earth. Zhao Fu was quite startled and exploded out with his divine realm aura, expanding his divine realm domain to its greatest extent. It formed a 10,000-meter wide black dragon inscription barrier that protected the rainbow-colored crystal bead and the top of the tower. The countless bolts of lightning gave off destructive auras as they blasted against the black dragon inscription barrier, causing it to violently tremble and look like it was about to be destroyed. Zhao Fu did not hesitate. This rainbow-colored crystal bead was incredibly important to Qin, so Zhao Fu directly used his nation armament's power. Using a nation armament within Qin's domain gave him a lot of bonuses. The black dragon inscription barrier became an azure energy barrier filled with killing intent, blocking all of the descending lightning. Boom! 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 However, the lightning did not stop, and even more ferocious bolts of lightning tore through the sky, giving off an unstoppable aura as they slammed against the azure energy barrier. The image released by the rainbow-colored crystal bead was now in human form, and it was absorbing source energy from the heavens and earth. Its body gradually became more and more corporeal, and as the image became more and more corporeal, the descending lightning became more and more ferocious. The azure energy barrier that Zhao Fu had formed with his nation armament's power was unable to withstand the lightning, and cracks started to appear on it. Chapter 15:19. With their help, Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief. The following bolts of lightning became more and more terrifying, and an aura of destruction spread through the sky. Sensing this terrifying aura, everyone's hairs stood on end, and they did not dare to approach. In the end, everyone was able to just barely hold on, but they were all slightly injured. There was some blood at the corners of their lips, and their auras were quite chaotic and weak. However, it was all worth it. The humanoid image finally became corporeal, forming a woman with a mature figure and beautiful features. She had long, black hair, a pair of blue eyes that were like stars, and she wore a blue palace dress. She gave off a motherly aura. "Thank you, Zhao Fu." After the image became corporeal, it gave a gentle smile to Zhao Fu, and that was the first thing it said. Because the image became corporeal, all abnormal signs, including the lightning, gradually disappeared. The dark clouds parted, revealing a blue sky. Birds happily chirped, butterflies danced among the flowers, and the world became peaceful again. Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt quite surprised, but he soon understood. The woman in front of him was a part of the world's consciousness, and Zhao Fu was highly regarded by the world's consciousness. Otherwise, he would not have become the world protector, so the woman naturally knew that he knew Zhao Fu. A trace of a smile appeared on Zhao Fu's face as he said, "What should I call you then? Ancestor of the human race? God of the world? Or Mother Earth?" The woman lightly smiled as she replied, "Since you've become my master, give me a new name." Zhao Fu was quite surprised. He had never thought that the woman would accept his identity so quickly, and she did not seem resentful at all. After all, she had once been the ruler of the human race and controlled everything, including Zhao Fu's life and death. However, since she had taken the initiative, Zhao Fu thought for a moment before saying, "From now on, you'll be called Spirit Maiden." The woman smiled and nodded, accepting this name. Spirit Maiden looked at Zhao Fu with her blue eyes and gave a beautiful smile as she said with a trace of praise, "Zhao Fu, I was not wrong about you back then. Your achievements have not disappointed me at all. No one in the human race can compare to you." Being praised like this by the ruler of the world, Zhao Fu felt quite happy and proud, and he lightly laughed as he said, "You've helped me a lot back then, so I must thank you today." Spirit Maiden lightly smiled as she said, "Don't worry about it. With your potential, any world consciousness would be the same." Zhao Fu said a bit more to the Spirit Maiden before asking about the thing he was most concerned about. "Can you devour the consciousnesses of other worlds to strengthen the human world?" The Spirit Maiden sank into her thoughts, and, after a while, she said seriously, "I'm just a part of the world's consciousness, and most of it has fused into the heaven-awakened world. If it wasn't for you using the sealing heaven-suppressing earth formation, I wouldn't have been able to leave. I'll continue to fuse with the remaining world's consciousnesses and control the human world again, but you might be detected by the heaven-awakened world's consciousness. When that time comes, you might be in great danger, and you might even be killed by the heaven-awakened world's consciousness. Fusing with a world's consciousness at the same time is not as easy as you think, and I don't have the ability for now. Only if you can prepare a few rare materials for me and create a world armament will I be able to devour the consciousnesses of other worlds." Hearing Spirit Maiden's words, Zhao Fu's expression became serious as he sank into his thoughts. When Spirit Maiden mentioned the heaven-awakened world's consciousness, Zhao Fu felt a chill in his heart, and his hair stood on end. Thinking about how big the heaven-awakened world was and how much world energy it could gather, let alone celestials, even those above celestials would be blasted into dust. Zhao Fu would not be able to resist at all, and he would only be able to die. Thinking about such a dangerous thing, Zhao Fu could not help but feel a trace of fear. After all, the existences he would be facing were unimaginably terrifying. At that moment, Spirit Maiden lightly laughed and said, "In actuality, your thoughts are not wrong, and I support your thoughts. I just wanted to give you a heads up, and right now, the situation in the Heaven Awakened world is not very optimistic. You should make preparations." Hearing this, Zhao Fu thought about the continuously weakening region's power and the City Lord Seal's power, and he asked seriously, "What big things have happened?" Spirit Maiden shook her head and slightly frowned as she replied, "In actuality, I'm not too sure either. I just instinctively feel that something bad is going to happen in the future, so you need to make preparations to avoid being destroyed." Zhao Fu nodded seriously, indicating that he understood. He made up his mind and asked, "What rare materials do you need? I'll immediately go and collect them." A trace of a smile appeared on Spirit Maiden's face as she said, "It doesn't have to be a specific material. It'll be fine as long as it meets the requirements." Following this, Spirit Maiden told Zhao Fu about a few materials, and Zhao Fu earnestly committed them to memory. It was impossible for Zhao Fu to obtain these materials right now, and he could only try to gather them in the future. This matter concluded here, and Spirit Maiden would remain in the tower and use the sealing heaven-suppressing earth formation to fuse with the remaining human world's consciousness. After dealing with this matter, there was something else that Zhao Fu was looking forward to the most, which was fusing with the blood-sucking mosquito Denver. Before, Zhao Fu had obtained a damage stage 10 Den, and after returning to Qin City, he wanted to see if he could fuse it with the blood-sucking mosquito Den to form a new creature, a creature formed from the outer world and the Heaven Awakened world. Thinking about that, Zhao Fu looked quite expectant as he went to the outer world. "Master, I missed you so much." Seeing that Zhao Fu had returned, Xueji leapt into Zhao Fu's embrace and tightly hugged Zhao Fu as she said happily and flirtatiously. Zhao Fu smiled as he hugged her and looked at Erisina, Bai Shihan, the other women, and Hongmei as he asked, "Has anything big happened recently?" Erisina lightly harumphed and said with a trace of anger, "With this god here, what big things can happen? Also, why did you bring so many women back? They all seem to have extraordinary backgrounds." Zhao Fu smiled as he replied, "Don't worry, there won't be any problems with them. They won't have any problems. I just came back not long ago, and then I came to your place." Xueji said impatiently, "Then I'll serve master." Erisina's face became slightly red, and she gave off an alluring aura as she walked toward Zhao Fu. The other women did the same. After all, Zhao Fu had been gone for a long time, and they all greatly missed Zhao Fu. After doing some indescribable things, Zhao Fu brought Xueji to an empty area and took out the 30-meter-wide blood-sucking mosquito den, as well as a damaged darkness demon snake den, and prepared to fuse them. Chapter 1520. The blood-sucking mosquito den gave off an intense blood-red light and gave off a massive aura as it moved towards the darkness demon snake Denver. The darkness demon snake den gave off an intense demonic light and a powerful demonic might as it moved towards the blood-sucking mosquito Denver. As the two nests came closer, a strong repulsive force appeared between them. Zhao Fu stretched out his hands, which were like two massive formless hands that grabbed the two nests and forced them to come closer. However, as the two nests came closer, the repulsive force became stronger and stronger. After all, they were items from two different worlds, and darkness power countered outer world creatures, making it even more difficult. Normal methods would not work, so Zhao Fu thought about it and suddenly had an idea. As someone from the Heaven Awakened world, Zhao Fu could not use the blood-sucking mosquito den, and as someone from the outer world, he could not use the darkness demon snake den either. Zhao Fu could first refine the darkness demon snake den and give the blood-sucking mosquito den to Xueji to refine. After obtaining complete control over both nests, he could then use their blood to fuse them together. Perhaps that would have a higher chance of success. Thinking about that, Zhao Fu started to act. Zhao Fu directly used his divine bloodline to easily refine the darkness demon snake Denver. As the blood-sucking mosquito king, Xueji was also able to easily refine the darkness demon snake Denver. The two of them stood on one side, with Xueji controlling the blood-sucking mosquito den and Zhao Fu controlling the darkness demon snake Denver. After obtaining control over both nests, the repulsive force became much weaker. However, as they came closer and closer, the repulsive force became stronger and stronger. When there was only 1 meter between them, the repulsive force formed a wild gale. At that moment, Zhao Fu and Xueji once again cut their wrists, causing blood to flow out. They controlled the blood to fly towards the two nests and turn into a blood-red mist that covered the two nests before sending massive amounts of power into them. Boom! An explosion sounded out as the two nests started to fuse under the massive power. One gave off a powerful black light while the other gave off a powerful blood-red light, causing wild gales to sweep out. Suddenly, countless fiery lights gathered in the sky, forming a massive sea of flames that covered the surrounding 1,000 kilometers. It gave off an incredibly searing aura, making people feel as if they were going to be roasted. The fusion of the two nests once again caused a divine punishment. This time, it was not from the heaven-awakened world, but from the outer world. Whoosh waves of fire started to descend like a rain of fire, bringing with them the power to incinerate everything as they flew towards the two dens. Zhao Fu and Xueji were completely focused on fusing and could not be distracted. However, Ericina was by their side. She stretched out a hand, and the 24 wings on her back spread out, causing countless rays of powerful black light to spread out. A massive god's domain containing ferocious power instantly spread out, blocking the rain of fire. Ling Hiva demon domain as a large amount, a saint, demon, and a king, a demon, spirit god, a light. In the end, the two nests successfully fused together, forming a brand new nest. This nest was not as big as before, and it was only 4 meters wide. It was shaped like a cube and was blood red, and it gave off a dark and bloody aura. This aura was incredibly terrifying and could cause anyone's hairs to stand on end. Zhao Fu went up and placed his hands on it. Indeed, it could be used, and the nest name was changed to Blood Demon Snake Mosquito. The Blood Demon Snake Mosquito was most likely the product of the fusion between a darkness demon snake and a blood-sucking mosquito. Zhao Fu did not know what it looked like, so he found a suitable place and used the nest to create a nest. A blood-red wave of light spread out as the nest floated in the air and gave off an intense light. A platform made of blood-red crystals appeared on the ground. Suddenly, countless traces of blood-red light started to condense, forming thousands of monsters. They flew in the air and gave off buzzing sounds. These monsters were 3 meters long and had a mosquito's head, but they had a pair of black snake eyes and a snake-like body. They also had 6 pairs of mosquito wings and 2 black claws, making them look quite terrifying. Every blood demon snake mosquito had stage 3 strength, and even though it was much weaker than Zhao Fu had expected, as the darkness demon snake nest had been a stage 10 nest, Zhao Fu was not disappointed. After all, they were superior in terms of numbers. Right now, the nest was only the lowest grade nest, but it could already spawn thousands of blood demon snake mosquitoes. If it continued to level up, it might spawn tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of blood demon snake mosquitoes every day. Moreover, these blood demon snake mosquitoes had stage 3 strength, which meant that they could spawn tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of stage 3 soldiers every day. This should make Zhao Fu feel quite delighted. Moreover, the blood demon snake mosquitoes now had blood type and demonic attributes, as well as some chaos attributes. They no longer had the weakness of being afraid of darkness elemental essence, and they also had a trace of saint realm power. They were most likely even stronger than ordinary stage 3 creatures. Zhao Fu left the blood demon snake mosquito nest to Xueji to manage, and after seeing that there were no other matters, he returned to Qin City to deal with other matters. First, he continued to construct temples. Guiji's temple had long since been constructed, and she had been absorbing faith energy, recovering her strength quite well. Zhao Fu was now constructing temples for the demon god and darkness god. Within the historical remnant, Zhao Fu had obtained a darkness divinity, the god of fallen angel, demon god, and darkness god. Qin City had gathered 3 darkness gods. In the future, he would be able to use them to deal with the outer world, as darkness power countered the outer world. The construction of the temples went quite quickly, and Zhao Fu did not need to worry about the demon god, Emo Qianma, as she could deal with everything herself. Zhao Fu went to the darkness god's temple and fused the darkness divinity into a large darkness crystal. Zhao Fu then cut his wrist and dripped a drop of blood onto the crystal. Recently, Zhao Fu had been frequently letting out blood, and Zhao Fu felt quite helpless about this. Divine blood was an incredibly rare item and had powerful effects and abilities, and it was quite easy to use divine blood in many ways. Zhao Fu dripped his divine blood onto the darkness crystal, and the darkness crystal quickly devoured Zhao Fu's divine blood, giving off an intense black light. The crystal gradually melted and continuously transformed into a woman's statue. The statue shot out a ray of black light, and a figure appeared in front of Zhao Fu. It was the darkness god. The demon Lord Star relied on the evil spirit Abyss Flower and the demon ancestor bloodlines that it had devoured. Each of these things was incredibly terrifying, and the supreme Emperor Star of a race was not so easy to obtain. Otherwise, they would not be so rare and valued by the entire world. As for the remaining 4 races, Zhao Fu did not have to worry too much. Zhao Fu already had a divinity within his mind that could absorb other godly spirits' divine power. After reaching a certain level, Zhao Fu would definitely be able to awaken the God race's Emperor Star. The key was the other 3 races. The Water race and Outlander race were not so bad, but the Spirit race's Supreme Emperor Star was the rarest and most difficult to awaken. This was because the Spirit race had very few people, and the Heaven Awakened World's 7 great academies did not have a Spirit Academy. Moreover, the Spirit race had always had the fewest Emperor Stars, so they had the least amount of fate. Zhao Fu decided to start with the Water race and Outlander race. He did not know what good news he would receive, but Zhao Fu could not keep waiting. As such, he could only put his thoughts on other things. During the time that Zhao Fu had been gone, nothing much had happened. The Aeolian Empire had taken over 4 worlds and was very well behaved, not showing any signs of provocation. However, the Devil Horn Empire had gone all out and conquered another world. This world was the Demon Race world, and there was a race called the Long-Hair Demon Race. This kind of demon was about 6 meters tall and had 1 meter long hair that covered their body. They looked like hairy people, but they were not weak. They could turn their long hair into needles to attack. In addition to their height and their own attributes, they would be a powerful type of warrior. However, because the Devil Horn Empire had been developing to the left, they had continuously taken down 4 worlds on the left. Now, a few worlds had allied together to resist, making it quite disadvantageous for the Devil Horn Empire to develop to the left. Now, a portion of the Devil Horn Empire's army was in a deadlock with a few worlds' allied army. However, those worlds were quite weak and did not want to make enemies with the Devil Horn Empire. They just wanted the Devil Horn Empire to stop developing to the left. Now, the Devil Horn Empire had 6 worlds and was on par with the Qin Empire, making it one of the 2 hegemons of this world. After the Aeolian Empire had been dealt a heavy blow, it had become incredibly well-behaved and low-key, and it was no longer as domineering and arrogant as before. However, it still had billions of Stage 3 soldiers here, and it was not someone to be trifled with. The Qin Empire and the Devil Horn Empire did not want to make trouble for it. The Qin Empire had definitely participated in the battles between the Devil Horn Empire and the other worlds. Chapter 1522. If Zhao Fu came to Emperor Path College, it would be incredibly dangerous. Moreover, facing so many higher beings and factions, it would be very difficult for Emperor Path College to protect him. Zhao Fu felt quite startled. He had thought that Emperor Path College would be his greatest backer, but now was unreliable and could not guarantee his safety. This caused Zhao Fu's heart to sink and his expression to become quite unsightly. He had never thought that what had happened in the demon domain would be known by the human domain, and his identity had been leaked. It would be difficult for the human domain's large factions not to know. Zhao Fu naturally guessed that it was most likely the evil spirit abyss flower. Countless people knew that the evil spirit abyss flower ancestor had been sealed in Emperor Path College, and countless factions knew that Zhao Fu had obtained his power. They definitely knew that the person who had used the evil flower bewitching world in the demon domain was Zhao Fu. As such, if Zhao Fu went to Emperor Path College, countless factions and higher beings would swarm him. No matter how powerful Emperor Path College was, it would not be able to defend against so many people. AI. Zhao Fu sighed. He had prepared for this examination for 3 years, but in the end, he was unable to participate. Zhao Fu felt quite grateful towards this higher being who had warned him. Ordinary people would not be able to do such a good thing to him. After chatting with her for a bit longer, he decided to end the conversation. Her advice to Zhao Fu was to make sure that his identity was not leaked. Once it was leaked, no one would be able to protect him, and the only outcome would be death. As for curses and other divination, Zhao Fu did not have to worry about them. Now that he had 5 Emperor stars and a dark and evil Demon Lord star, there would not be any higher beings who would seek death. Zhao Fu remembered her advice. He did not have any backers and could only rely on himself. In the end, his own strength was the best guarantee. After concluding the conversation, Zhao Fu turned his attention to attacking other worlds. Qin had been expanding to the left, taking down the Dark Demon World, Spirit Light World, and Corpse Pall World. The world in the Corpse Pall World's past world seemed to be a human race world. Zhao Fu had met that world protector before, and there was some enmity between them. That world protector was a white-haired, white-eyed youth who had once gone to the Spirit Light World to steal the primogenitor statue. He had fought with Zhao Fu, and he had ended up forming a grudge, just like that corpse puppet. They would first send people to investigate this world and make preparations before launching an attack. Suddenly, Zhao Fu also thought of something else. It was the Void Mirror, which had the power to break through the void. It was something that had been used to open the ruins. At this time, what Zhao Fu was thinking about was whether he could break the bounded domain of the Wind Spirit World on the right or not. Qin couldn't keep developing to the left, so he had to move the boulder on the right as soon as possible. He couldn't let it block his way all the time. Zhao Fu had sent people in to investigate and found that the Wind God Sun was developing incredibly quickly. The longer they waited, the more powerful this Wind God Sun would become, and the more difficult it would be to attack. Zhao Fu held the Void Mirror and brought Yuling, Mozax, and Moluf to the U-Spirit World's barrier. Yuling, Mozax, and Moluf had become much stronger after Zhao Fu had left, and they would most likely be able to break through this barrier. First, Mozax unleashed his powerful nothingness domain, which expanded to 10,000 meters and covered the barrier, greatly weakening the barrier's power. Moluf stretched out a hand and exploded out with a powerful wave of nothingness energy that blasted against the barrier. Zhao Fu held the Void Mirror and sent a massive wave of power into it, causing it to give off countless rays of light as a powerful ray of light shot out. Boom! The 2 types of nothingness energy gave off powerful auras as they slammed against the barrier, causing it to tremble. Yuling went up and placed his small hand on the trembling barrier, and a wave of silver energy soundlessly spread out and covered the trembling barrier. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as cracks appeared on the spirit formation before falling down, revealing a 1,000-meter wide hole. Countless traces of green wind blew out, and within it was the Wind Spirit World. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile. He had finally broken through the wind spirit world. Even though it was only 1,000 meters wide, Qin could now enter and exit as he pleased, and he could also use teleportation channels to teleport in large numbers. The wind spirit world had most likely sensed the ripples here and would soon react. Zhao Fu immediately decided to attack the wind spirit world first and not give it any time to react. Now that there was a barrier protecting them, it was beneficial to Qin. If the wind spirit world removed the barrier, there would be billions of Aeolian Empire soldiers outside. With their help, how could Zhao Fu take down the wind spirit world? If that was the case, Zhao Fu's right path would be blocked, and another powerful opponent would appear. The wind godson was not simple at all. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out, causing Zhao Fu's expression to fall. He felt the heavens and earth change as winds blew and clouds gathered. Countless bolts of lightning flashed, and the world trembled as countless traces of spirit qi became chaotic. It was not just Zhao Fu's expression that fell. The entire Heaven Awakened world was like this. Another massive change occurred, and the ripples this time were many times more intense than before. They lasted for even longer, and the auras were even more terrifying. It was as if everyone had been thrown into ice water. A boundless coldness swept over them, and their bodies instinctively trembled as they felt terror in their hearts. Only after a few hours did the massive ripples stop. Bang! 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 Heaven-shaking explosions once again sounding out through the various worlds. Countless people felt as if their ears were going to go deaf. Zhao Fu looked quite confused as he looked at the scene in front of him. The wind spirit world's barrier had been completely shattered and started to fall, creating large craters. Dust and sand flew everywhere, forming a dust fog that covered the ground. Bastard! It had not been easy for him to break through the wind spirit world's barrier, and he had never thought that the wind spirit world's barrier would shatter on its own. All of his efforts had been for nothing, and Zhao Fu could not help but curse. However, it was not just the wind spirit world. The fish scale world's barrier that Zhao Fu was in had also fallen. The barriers of the other new worlds had most likely also fallen, and none of them had been spared. After all, the countless explosions from before were the sounds of countless heaven domain boundaries shattering, and two of them had come from the fish scale world and the wind spirit world. All of this indicated that the novice phase of all new worlds had come to an end, and all protections were gone. All new worlds were about to face the true test of the Heaven Awakened world. Chapter 1523. System Announcement. City stats have been weakened. System Announcement. Den stats have been weakened. System Announcement. Region power has been weakened. System Announcement. Nation power has been weakened. System Announcement. Nation armaments have been affected. System Announcement. All new entrance protection periods have ended prematurely. Zhao Fu's expression was quite serious. These changes did not just affect city and region power, but even den and nation power had been weakened. More importantly, nation armaments had also been affected. In the end, just as Zhao Fu had expected, all of the new entrance barriers had disappeared. The Heaven Awakened world was becoming worse and worse, and if this went on, all of its stats would disappear sooner or later. The Qin Empire now had the sealing heaven-suppressing earth formation, so it could leave the Heaven Awakened world at any time, but it did not have the ability to protect itself yet. Zhao Fu had to quickly develop his faction and make plans for the future. Based on how things were going, the future would not be good. At the same time, Zhao Fu was even more determined to make the human world similar to the Heaven Awakened world. That way, the Qin Empire would be able to survive and reach the peak. All of the new entrance barriers had disappeared, once again ruining Zhao Fu's plans. Not only was he unable to attack the Wind Spirit world, but his plan to attack the other world would also have to be delayed. Before, the Qin Empire could use the barriers to expand to both sides and bully the new worlds, but that was no longer possible, as the other worlds would also interfere. Zhao Fu decided to gather his subordinates to discuss future strategies. After making this decision, Zhao Fu returned to the Qin Empire and spread out his forces. Now that there were no barriers, the fish scale, dark demon, and spirit light worlds were all exposed to the other worlds. If they did not have soldiers defending them, they would not be able to do so. With such a large area, they would have to split a large portion of their forces, and it would not be as easy as before. Zhao Fu first sent out intelligence personnel to investigate the situation in the wind spirit world and the human race world. Just as Zhao Fu had expected, the wind god sun had developed incredibly quickly and controlled 1/3 of the wind spirit world's territory. As billions of the Aeolian Empire's army entered, the wind god sun became the ruler of the wind spirit world. The wind god sun once again established an empire called the Aeolian Empire. It was said that the wind god sun was the reincarnation of the wind god. The wind god was one of the ancestors of the wind god empire, and he had used some sort of method to reincarnate. The wind god empire knew about this and was able to pinpoint where the wind god had reincarnated. As such, they sent billions of soldiers to establish a second wind god empire. The wind god empire felt that it was powerful and thought that this would not be a problem. It was a pity that it had run into great Qin. The Qin was quite. The emperor, the Qin, and the emperor. The emperor, the Qin, the emperor. Qin had a great enmity with the Aeolian Empire, and the Second Aeolian Empire also viewed Qin as an enemy. The second world was called the Glass Race. They had white hair, but apart from that, there was nothing special about them. After all, the human race was one of the weaker races. This was an ordinary new world, and it did not have the same abilities as Qin and the second wind god. It was split into factions of various sizes. The white-haired, white-eyed young man was called Dong Yueli, and his faction was the most powerful. However, he did not control an entire continent. He was even weaker than the Corpse Paul world. Even though the Corpse Paul world was not very powerful, everyone had unified an entire continent. Now, the Glass World was in the same situation as other new worlds. Facing the invasion of the outside world, the nearby worlds all planned to invade. The Glass people all felt incredibly panicked, and they started to use their diplomacy. On one hand, they wanted to show that they were with Qin, and on the other hand, they wanted to join their alliance to resist the nearby Devilhorn Empire. The various factions were quite tempted because taking down this new world would result in them losing a portion of their fighting strength. Apart from some people, the cities were not very useful. If they could increase their strength to resist the Devilhorn Empire, they would naturally be willing to do so. Moreover, the even more terrifying Qin was with them, and attacking the Glass World would be clashing with Qin, which they did not want. After much consideration, the various factions agreed to the Glass World's request. They would not attack the Glass World and would allow it to join the alliance and even provide some help. Just like that, a massive crisis was resolved and the entire Glass World celebrated. Countless people cheered, and the streets were filled with joy. The Glass World also chose 10 or so representatives. These people were all geniuses of the Glass World and had high statuses. The white-haired young man, Dong Yueli, was naturally the leader, and they were given the task of managing the Glass World's relationship with the surrounding worlds. The various alliances invited them to discuss resisting the Devilhorn Empire, and Dong Yueli and the 10 or so other representatives felt quite excited. This was the first time they had interacted with the higher-ups of the outside world. They had all developed for decades, and their overall strength was many times greater than theirs. Apart from Dong Yueli, who had left the Glass World a few times, the others had not even seen what the outside world was like. Dong Yueli and the others took this invitation quite seriously, and they brought people to the meeting. Facing the powerful figures of the various worlds, Dong Yueli and the others expressed their goodwill, and the various large factions were quite courteous. A feminine-looking middle-aged man smiled as he said, "Everyone from the Glass World, welcome to our alliance. I am the king of the Hanru Kingdom and the leader of the alliance." Dong Yueli hurriedly returned the greeting, saying, "Alliance Lord, you're too courteous. It is our Glass World's fortune to be able to join the alliance." The feminine-looking man was quite satisfied with Dong Yueli's attitude and smiled as he said, "Everyone, please sit. We will soon have a meeting to discuss how to resist the Devil Horn Empire." Dong Yueli and his people nodded and chose a place to sit down. The people at the meeting raised all sorts of suggestions. Some wanted to pull more people into the alliance, others wanted to work together with Qin, and others wanted to increase their forces and train together to strengthen unity. There were many talented people at the meeting, but there were also many differences in opinion. Moreover, some people had selfish thoughts, and both sides started to argue. Dong Yueli and the others obediently listened and did not say anything. With their current strength, they did not have a right to say anything, nor did they want to care. Chapter 1524. Suddenly, some people walked in and handed letters to the leaders. At first, the leaders felt quite confused, but those people whispered in their ears, causing the leaders' expressions to become serious as they started to read the letters. Dong Yueli and the others felt quite confused and could not understand what had happened for the leaders to be so serious. But then, one by one, the leaders looked at them. Some of their gazes were filled with pity, some with disdain, some with regret, and some with mockery. Even the alliance master, who had been very courteous to them, became cold, causing Dong Yueli and the others' hearts to sink. They had definitely discovered something bad, but they had no idea what it was. The cold-looking middle-aged man looked at everyone, and everyone else nodded. The cold-looking middle-aged man understood and said, "Apologies, everyone from the glass world. Everyone from the glass world, you have been expelled from the alliance. Don't worry, we will not attack you." This caused Dong Yueli and the others to feel quite furious. What did these people think they were? Even though they were weak, it was not as if they could not retaliate at all. They had been kicked out of the alliance just like that, not giving them any face at all. However, even though they were furious, they did not dare to explode in front of the leaders of the various worlds. Dong Yueli said coldly, "Alliance Master, please tell us just what happened. Please tell us what exactly happened. Why did all of you unanimously expel us?" The cold-looking middle-aged man calmly explained. "Qin spoke. He told us not to accept you, or else he would not tie down the Devil Horn Empire. He also listed us as enemies, and if we kick you out, Qin promised not to attack us. Apologies. You all understand how important Qin is to us, and we fear Qin greatly, so we could only kick you out." This was the domineeringness of the Qin Empire. With just a single sentence, none of the factions in the alliance dared to object and could only obey, not daring to say anything. Dong Yueli and the others understood, and they stood up and left. They were filled with fury and hatred towards the alliance and the Qin Empire. At the same time, they quickly hurried back and prepared to deal with Qin. They understood that Qin was about to attack, and if they did not prepare now, it would be too late. Now, Qin was indeed mobilizing troops to attack the glass world. Qin, the huge war machine, started to operate, and a huge murderous aura spread out, causing the atmosphere to become oppressive, and everyone started to pay attention to it. Moreover, Qin had deployed troops in the other 6 worlds to guard all the worlds and guard against the spying of other worlds. Seeing that Qin was going to attack the glass world, the Devil Horn Empire grasped this opportunity and announced that it would fully help the glass world as long as it submitted to the Devil Horn Empire and became its vassal world. This was because Qin had been obstructing the Devil Horn Empire's development this entire time. Now that the Devil Horn Empire's world was equal to Qin's, they were no longer as fearful as before and wanted to take revenge against Qin. Now that Qin was going to attack the glass world, as an enemy of the Qin Empire, the Devil Horn Empire had to stop them to vent their anger. Before, the glass world had been about to be attacked by all sides and had fallen into panic. However, after joining the alliance and obtaining safety, they immediately celebrated. However, after hearing that Qin was going to attack them and that the alliance was going to expel them, the glass world once again fell into panic. They were even more afraid than last time, and some people even planned to leave the glass world. After all, Qin was many times more terrifying than other worlds. However, after hearing that the Devil Horn Empire was going to help them, the glass world once again became happy. The Devil Horn Empire was Qin's #1 enemy, and it would definitely do its best to stall Qin, allowing them to keep their lives. However, becoming a vassal world of the Devil Horn Empire was not that difficult. After all, it was only in name, and they would not truly submit to the Devil Horn Empire. Even though it would be quite shameful, they were about to die, so they were naturally willing. Right now, the glass world's people's emotions were going through ups and downs. One moment, they were happy. The next moment, they were terrified. Zhao Fu did not pay too much attention to the Devil Horn Empire, as he had long since expected it to interfere. Right now, Zhao Fu was more concerned about Qin's military situation. Defending the Six Worlds required a lot of military strength, and the outer world also had soldiers stationed there. The cities continuously weakened and the power of the regions weakened, causing the strength of Qin's beasts to fall. Even though the various types of soldiers were developing quite well, there were still not many of them. Now that they had to face the Devil Horn Empire and the Second Yolin Empire, Qin's military strength was lacking. With the barriers gone and the city's stats weakened, Qin's situation was quite disadvantageous. However, with Qin's current strength, he could still take down the Glass World. He gathered information about the Glass World while discussing with his generals about how to attack it. The Devil Horn Empire was also gathering its forces, and a massive aura shook the surroundings, causing the heavens and earth to fall into an austere atmosphere. The Devil Horn Empire planned to attack Qin from the Desolate Crow World's entrance. That place was quite close to the Glass World and could help the Glass World. The military movements of the two empires caused terrifying auras to once again cause the situation to become tense. Those who knew what was good for them all distanced themselves. If the two sides started to fight, they would not care about them. Everyone once again paid close attention to the two sides. Within a large and spacious god palace, on a tall throne sat a tall, beautiful woman with azure eyes and dressed in azure armor. She gave off a valiant aura, and she rested her hand on her leg as she rested her chin on her hand. She was currently listening to the report from a half-kneeling soldier below, and she gave a trace of a cold smile. This woman was the wind god's child, and it could be said that she was the reincarnation of the wind god. She had once been an extremely terrifying existence and held great authority in the Aeolian Empire. Back then, she had taken down most of the Aeolian Empire's territory and was the world protector of the wind spirit world. Her name was Feng Xinsha. The report from the soldier was all the information on the Devil Horn Empire and Qin Empire. Those two fellows are quite interesting, especially that Qin's prince. He can be called a legendary figure. Despite being a newcomer, he was able to make the Aeolian Empire suffer. I never thought that he would appear in such a complicated place and require this sovereign to personally attack, Feng Xinsha said with a self-mocking smile. With her status and experience, she did not place too much importance on these two border kingdoms. If it wasn't for the fact that the Aeolian Empire was tied down by a few other kingdoms, she could immediately gather an army and easily destroy those two kingdoms, making their kings kneel before her. Chapter 1525. Originally, there was a god race world next to the charmed devil world, and the race that lived there was called the gold god race. They had golden hair and golden eyes, and they liked to use armor made of gold. They were very powerful, much more powerful than the charmed devil race. Back then, because of this, the Aeolian Empire had chosen to develop from the left rather than the gold god world on the right. The gold god race was very powerful and was quite arrogant. They did not fear the Aeolian Empire, and they were a tough bunch. Feng Xinsha liked tough people because conquering them would give her a sense of accomplishment. As such, she immediately chose to attack the gold god race. Yes, the soldiers obeyed and turned to leave, relaying Feng Xinsha's orders. This time, Feng Xinsha left 1 billion stage 3 soldiers to defend, while the other 2 billion stage 3 soldiers, as well as the 6 billion wind spirit world soldiers, attacked the gold god race. Feng Xinsha wanted to properly train these soldiers who had not seen the world yet. The two armies quickly clashed, and both sides gave off massive auras, causing the air to seem to become heavy. They gave off dangerous auras that could be sensed even from far away. If you submit to me, I'll treat you well in the future. Don't seek death now, Feng Xinsha said domineeringly and coldly as she stood in the air and gave off a terrifying aura. Her cultivation had reached the world realm, and she had the power of a nation armament. On the gold god race's side was a golden-haired and arrogant young man who looked quite handsome. He said coldly, "Stop dreaming. It's impossible for us to submit." Feng Xinsha coldly laughed and did not say anything else as she gave the order to attack. The 2 billion stage 3 soldiers were the first to attack. They exploded out with a green aura flame, forming a green flood that gave off an incredibly sharp aura as it rushed towards the Gold God Race army. The Gold God Race also counterattacked. Every soldier gave off traces of golden aura that flowed into the sky and formed a golden moon. This golden moon gave off a terrifying aura and gave off boundless golden moonlight that covered the ground. Swish, 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 the Gold God people pulled open ropes and shot out arrows. These arrows were buffed by the golden moonlight and turned into golden rays of light that contained immense divine power as they tore through the sky and shot towards the wind god soldiers. In the face of the countless golden light shooting dragons, the huge green torrent first condensed, then suddenly expanded outwards. A huge and sharp green gale, with a speed as fast as lightning, attacked forward. The countless streaks of golden light were cut into countless pieces by the azure gale and fell from the sky. This caused the Gold God Race's people's expressions to fall. By now, the wind god soldiers had reached the bottom of the defensive walls, and all of them exploded out with an even more intense aura. They turned into powerful gales as they rushed up the defensive walls. Boom! The golden moon in the sky exploded out with an even more powerful aura, and countless rays of golden moonlight covered the golden armored soldiers. The Gold God Race soldiers' bodies gave off golden light, and they looked incredibly spirited and full of martial might, as if they were divine soldiers. On one side were the golden soldiers, while on the other side were the azure soldiers, and the two sides clashed intensely. The remaining billions of Stage 1 soldiers of the Aeolian Empire, which are the Wind Spirit World soldiers, split into two directions and roared as they charged towards the defensive walls. With the help of the main force, they quickly reached the defensive walls and were baptized in blood. A Wind Spirit soldier held a large axe that gave off an azure light. It slashed out, sending out an azure blade of light that split a Gold God Race soldier in half. Another Wind Spirit soldier's spear gave off a light gust of wind as it pierced through a Gold God Race soldier's chest. A Gold God soldier furiously roared as he held a large saber and slashed out a golden saber light, decapitating a Wind Spirit soldier's head, causing blood to spurt out. A Gold God soldier held a sword that was like a divine weapon and stabbed out, piercing through the Wind Spirit soldier's throat. In the battle between the Gold God soldiers and Wind Spirit soldiers, both sides' strength was about the same, and the Gold God soldiers had a slight advantage. Both sides continuously fought, causing blood to fly everywhere, and people continuously died. However, the Wind Spirit soldiers had an overwhelming advantage because they were Stage 3 soldiers. Their bodies gave off an azure aura flame, and they looked like wind demons as they wantonly slaughtered. Azure wind blades shot out from their hands, and the Gold God soldiers were unable to defend at all. Their bodies were sliced apart by the azure wind blades, causing blood to fly everywhere. Pained cries continuously sounded out, and the stench of blood was incredibly nauseating. Facing the Wind Spirit soldiers, the Gold God soldiers felt terror and continuously retreated. The Wind Spirit soldiers' gazes were cold as they chased after them, not letting a single Gold God soldier go. A Gold God soldier saw a large number of his soldiers die, and he furiously charged at a Wind Spirit soldier, but he was mercilessly killed by a Wind Spirit soldier. 10 or so gold god soldiers surrounded a wind spirit soldier and killed 90 of them. A spear pierced through the wind spirit soldier's chest, taking his life. However, this was a great loss, and the gold god soldiers were not a match for the wind spirit soldiers. One was from the outer domains, while the other was from the inner domains. The difference in strength was too great, and only the gold god world was participating, so they did not have much of an advantage in numbers. In the end, the gold god world was taken down by the Second Aeolian Empire, and the remaining gold god soldiers either submitted or escaped to other worlds. Within a dazzling palace, Feng Shunsha sat on a golden throne as a few soldiers brought up a golden-haired young man. This was the young man who had spoken to Feng Shunsha before, and he was the strongest king of the gold god world. His status and bloodline were the most prestigious. Kneel and crawl over. Feng Shunsha gave a trace of a smile as she sat on the golden throne. Her voice was incredibly domineering and did not allow anyone to refuse. The golden-haired young man looked furious as he roared, "Just kill me." Feng Shunsha lightly laughed as she stretched out a hand, and countless traces of azure aura flowed into the golden-haired young man's body. The sharp aura was like countless blades that cut at the young man's body from the inside. His eyes, tongue, brain, fingers, and heart were all cut, and the immense pain caused the young man to howl and desperately want to die. Moreover, the wound was internal, and on the surface the young man seemed fine. However, after a while, the young man could not take it anymore and crawled over to Feng Shunsha. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.